Chapter 1571. The moment Nether River Patriarch's new world was smashed by fate, endless luck flowed rapidly into the first world. Rumble. The luck entered the ground and quickly covered both the yin and yang worlds, quickly gathering the dragon veins that had been sucked away from the ground. At the same time, the luck seemed to retain its memories of the past and returned to where it came from. A group of peerless experts sensed that fate had entered the world and quickly entered the world and looked at the sky above the great Qin city. Gui Guzi, Lotus deity, was surprised. Life-exchanging art. Gui Guzi used his life to exchange for Yang Chuan's life. He died in place of Yang Chuan? Grave Immortal King was shocked. Their fate is the same. Only a part of fate's consciousness has awakened. It only recognizes one fate and does not care about anything else. How could these two have the same fate and hide from fate? Only one can live if they have the same fate. I thought that Yang Chuan and Gui Guzi would fight. Who would have thought that Gui Guzi would be so righteous? Everyone sighed. Boom. Boom. The two Gui Guzis exploded. At the entrance of the central palace, Yang Chuan's emotions were intense. The group of peerless experts was silent. This time, Gui Guzi replaced Yang Chuan. What will happen next time? Invincible East sighed softly. With fate gone, Invincible East sighed in regret and left with Lotus deity. Grave Immortal King looked at them and also left. In this battle, he did not succeed. Nether River Patriarch also failed. The common people had lost another chance. Grave Immortal King was not in a good mood. In the blink of an eye, he arrived at the border of the western outer continent. There, the Grave Clan disciples and the experts of the Great Kindness world were waiting. Family head. The Grave Clan disciples called out. Let's go back. Grave Immortal King said calmly. Yes. Everyone followed Grave Immortal King back to the Great Kindness world. Zhong Shan stood in the starry sky with Jian Ao beside him. The two of them looked at the central palace entrance. Gui Guzi is righteous. Yang Chuan has escaped this calamity. Unfortunately, the Great Emperor altar is not a good thing, Jian Ao said solemnly. Great Emperor altar? It was precisely because of the Great Emperor altar that fate had chosen Yang Chuan first. This thing was indeed not a good thing. Not only that, there is also zombie Yang Chuan's body. Perhaps, even without the Great Monarch altar, fate will still find him. Zhong Shan shook his head. The two of them looked at each other for a while before finally flying back to the Great Wide World. Although Wu Jiong did not participate in the war, he had always been paying attention to the movements of the world. He stood in the shadows and observed everything. At this moment, his heart grew heavier and heavier. Wu Jiong discovered that he was getting further and further away from the group of heroes. The current 16 levels of heaven could be said to be incomparably tyrannical in the past. However, in the face of the current world, it was as if it could be destroyed at any time. At the entrance of Taiji Palace, Wu Jiong sighed softly. All of a sudden, the entire world began to rumble. Ah! 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 Countless dragon roars rang out from the depths of the earth as luck filled the dragon veins of the earth once again. Then, the overflowing luck soared into the sky and returned to all parts of the world. Great Qin City and Xianyang City's surging fate once again rushed into the Sea of Fate and entered the Sea of Fate. Ang! Ang! The two golden dragons of fate appeared again. Just like the golden dragon of fate in the past, it once again acknowledged the great celestial realm. 10 days later. In the infinite realm. Boom. An 18-colored mist of light surged out from zombie Yang Chuan's body. 18 levels of heaven? Zombie Yang Chuan opened his eyes. Two 18-colored lights shot out from his eyes. His gaze was sharp, and a murderous aura shot out in all directions. Zombie Yang Chuan looked at his palms. A gift from the Nether River? The power of the Nether River's birth chart and the power that overflowed from the destruction of the New World allowed me to break through? Zombie Yang Chuan said in surprise. It was difficult for Jiang Chen to cultivate. Jiang Chen had worked endlessly in the past, but he only reached the 17th level of heaven. He did not expect the Nether River to be so much stronger than Jiang Chen in the past. Zombie Yang Chuan clenched his fists. A hint of determination flashed in Yang Chuan's eyes as he said, "Patriarch Nether River, thank you for your gift. This gift is extremely important to me. It saved me a lot of effort. Although I don't understand what you meant in the end," Jiang Chen said, "that I've become stronger. You said that you underestimated fate, but I'll do my best not to disappoint those who have placed their hopes in me. My grandfather, Bai Huang, Gui Guzi, Kong Huangtian, Jiang Chen, Ming, the Great Supremacy, and the Great Supremacy. Just you wait and see. I'll do my best. If your dreams come true one day, I'll do my best to help you. I hope we'll have a chance to drink and chat together again," Yang Chuan said solemnly. Yang Chuan closed his eyes and sent his consciousness into the space between his eyebrows. At this moment, there was a small droplet of liquid in the space between his eyebrows. It seemed to contain the image of the new world from before. The heart of the world. Although I don't know what this thing can do now, I'll think about it carefully, Yang Chuan said solemnly. After saying that, Zombie Yang Chuan rushed toward the Great Qin city. Boom. When Zombie Yang Chuan returned, the officials all gathered around him. "Great Emperor." The officials all gathered around him. "Let's go," Zombie Yang Chuan said. Following this, Zombie Yang Chuan led the officials into the Yang realm. In the Yang realm, Yang Chuan was already waiting in his human form. Almost everyone was wearing white mourning clothes. The Empress, the Crown Prince, and some other officials were waiting. The seven-dragon carriage silently stopped at the entrance of the Skyward Palace. Yang Chuan, the Empress, and the Crown Prince stepped onto the dragon carriage, and the officials followed behind them. "Let's go," Bai Qi called out. Roar. Roar. The seven dragon carriages took off and headed north. Almost all of Great Shan's officials moved out, heading straight for the Great Thousand World in the outer North Continent. At this moment, Yang Chuan was no longer worried about the outside world attacking Great Shan. The world situation was almost clear. There were only a few factions left, and Yang Chuan was sure that they wouldn't take advantage of this opportunity to attack. A few days later, everyone entered the outer North Continent. Outer North Continent, Immortal Palace. Reporting to Realm Lord, Yang Chuan has entered the outer North Continent. An official reported to Zhong Shan. "I know." Zhong Shan nodded. "Realm Lord, should we send an envoy?" the official asked. "No need." Yang Chuan brought the officials to the Bai clan's ancestral hall to pay respects to Bai Huang's tomb and bury Gui Guzi. "There is no need to disturb them," Zhong Shan said. "Yes." Bai clan's ancestral hall. The seven-dragon carriage arrived. Looking from afar, countless cypress trees towered into the clouds, and the mountains were destroyed. However, Zhong Shan did not allow anyone to enter. This was a forbidden area, the place where Bai Huang was buried. From afar, the dragon carriage stopped. Yang Chuan looked at the scenery around him, and his eyes were slightly moist. On the dragon carriage, there was a coffin with Gui Guzi's clothes. "Mister, we are back." Yang Chuan looked at the coffin and sighed. In this place, there were countless beautiful memories of Yang Chuan's first life. Bai Yi grew up here, playing here, crying here, laughing here. At that time, the Bai clan was prosperous. At that time, Bai Huang was still alive, smiling kindly at Bai Yi. At that time, Gui Guzi was still alive, strictly teaching Yang Chuan cultivation. At that time, Bai Yi was still carefree. At that time, Bai Yi was still carefree. The sea had turned into mulberry fields. Everything had changed. Bai Huang had fallen, Gui Guzi had fallen, and the Bai clan had perished. The valley that used to be cheerful was now silent, dead silent. Tears flowed down Yang Chuan's face as he looked at the valley. Behind him, the Empress, the Crown Prince, and the officials waited quietly. Chapter 1572. In the Great Thousand World, the Bai clan's former residence. The zombie Yang Chuan sat in the dragon carriage as if he was in seclusion. The human Yang Chuan brought the Empress, the Crown Prince, and the officials to pay respects to Bai Huang's tomb. Looking at the place where the first generation was born, Yang Chuan felt sad. The Bai clan used to be prosperous, and their every move was watched by the world. Today, they were completely wiped out. After quietly reminiscing for a while, Yang Chuan let out a sigh, then stepped forward and flew towards the interior. The officials followed behind him. The surrounding mountains were shattered, and it seemed like they had been through the passage of time. Yang Chuan knew that this must have been caused by Huang's last battle before he died. Inside, there were countless formations around. Walking slowly, everything was so familiar. Yang Chuan smiled bitterly along the way. The officials followed behind quietly, not daring to disturb him. Slowly, they walked to a tall mountain in the center. At the top of the mountain was a huge palace. The words Bai Clan Ancestral Hall were written on the plaque of the palace. At the entrance of the Bai Clan Ancestral Hall, an old man could be seen from afar. He was gently sweeping the area with a broom. The old man lowered his head, and his turbid eyes instantly saw Yang Chuan. Suddenly, the old man shuddered and looked surprised. He immediately put down the broom and quickly went down the mountain to welcome him. This sinner, the ancestral dragon, greets the heavenly emperor. The old man immediately knelt and said with a guilty expression, "The ancestral dragon?" Yang Chuan frowned. The officials around were also surprised. This person called the great emperor the heavenly emperor. Could he be an old official of the great emperor's first generation? Many of the officials recognized him at a glance. Me. A series of cold snorts sounded. Clearly, their attitudes toward the ancestral dragon were not friendly. Minister Lu, who is this ancestral dragon? Yi Feng looked at Lu Buwei in confusion. In the past, in our first generation, he was the supreme beast of the Great Qin Empire, the ancestral dragon. In the past, the great monarch gave him a very high status, and in the Great Qin imperial court, the ancestral dragon was on the same level as the great monarch. In the final battle, when the great monarch and Zhong Shan fought, the ancestral dragon, as one of the main forces of the Great Qin Empire, was unable to fight with his full strength. Oh, the supreme beast of the past. That's right. In the past, the Great Thousand World only had two strongest cultivators left, the Great Emperor and Zhong Shan. The ancestral dragon was the sovereign of the Great Qin Empire, but he wasn't of the same mind as the Great Qin Empire. In the final battle, even if the ancestral dragon gave his all, even if he lost, no one would blame him. He was the first to fight, but in order not to offend either side, he didn't give his all. If the Great Emperor won, even if there were some flaws in his battle, it wouldn't matter much. Lu Buwei sneered. Yi Feng analyzed and said, "No wonder everyone is dissatisfied with the ancestral dragon. Not only that, I presume that the ancestral dragon didn't follow the Great Qin Empire's ministers to their death. Him? If he gave his all back then, even if he didn't follow us to our deaths, we wouldn't blame him." Lu Buwei snorted. In front, the ancestral dragon knelt in front of Yang Chuan. "Ancestral dragon, your cultivation was sealed?" Yang Chuan asked in a deep voice. The ancestral dragon said bitterly, "This sinner deserves it. In the past, I wanted to curry favor with both sides. In the final battle, you, the heavenly emperor, fell and Zhong Shan achieved immortality. This sinner wanted to join Zhong Shan, but Zhong Shan looked down on me." Oh! Yang Chuan stared at the ancestral dragon. "This sinner deserves it." Zhong Shan saw that this sinner didn't give his all in that battle. Not only did he not thank this sinner, but he also made things difficult for me. No, it should be the ministers of Zhong Shan who made things difficult for me. The world is so big, but there is no place for me. Later, Bai Huang took pity on me and invited me into the Bai clan. Although you were guilty back then, you have contributed greatly to the Great Qin Empire. Forget it. Yang Chuan said indifferently. This sinner is guilty, but I have come to my senses. Bai Huang also took good care of this sinner. This sinner is grateful. One day, Bai Huang divined the fate of the heavens and seemed to have guessed that the Bai clan was going to suffer a great calamity. He sent me out and brought a letter to Zhong Shan to plead on my behalf. After I left, the Bai clan was fated to be annihilated. This sinner escaped the calamity, ancestral dragon said. Oh! After Zhong Shan knew about it, he still held a grudge against this sinner. He sealed this sinner's cultivation and asked this sinner to build the Bai clan ancestral hall here to guard this place forever to atone for my sins. Ancestral dragon said bitterly. Looking at the ancestral dragon, Yang Chuan's expression turned solemn. "Bring me to the hall." "Yes." Ancestral dragon answered. He got up and brought Yang Chuan to the Bai clan ancestral hall on the mountain. Everyone climbed the mountain and no one flew. Step by step, they walked to the Bai clan ancestral hall. Under ancestral dragon's lead, Yang Chuan stepped into the Bai clan ancestral hall. Inside the Bai clan ancestral hall, there were statues erected. The statues were vivid and lifelike. There were thousands of them along the way. When Yang Chuan saw these statues, his eyes turned slightly red. Most of them were familiar faces. These were all carved by this sinner. The Bai clan was destined to be annihilated. Back then, they were all annihilated, including Bai Huang. In the end, they died without a complete corpse. This sinner buried them in this hall. These statues were carved by this sinner based on my memories over the years, Ancestral Dragon said with a bitter smile. Yang Chuan looked at these statues one by one until he reached the northernmost side. It was a white-robed old man. The old man had a kind face, but there was wisdom in his eyes. Ancestral Dragon carved everyone's form very well. Looking at Bai Huang's statue, Yang Chuan's eyes turned red again. He bowed respectfully to the old man's statue. When Yang Chuan bowed, everyone followed suit. "Grandpa, I've brought Uncle Master back," Yang Chuan said in a slightly hoarse voice. There was a small door at the side. Under Ancestral Dragon's guidance, Yang Chuan walked to the back of the hall. It was a huge tomb. Everyone was buried together. "Bury Mr. Yang Chuan said. "Yes." The coffin bearers behind him answered. "Here, there's space here." Ancestral Dragon immediately instructed everyone to bury Gui Gu's empty coffin. Looking at the huge tomb, Yang Chuan felt a pang of sadness in his heart. He walked back to the hall again. Yang Chuan waved his hand gently. Whoosh! Beside Bai Huang's statue, another statue suddenly appeared. It was Gui Gu's statue. Gui Gu's statue leaned beside Bai Huang in a respectful manner. Then, Yang Chuan led the officials out of the hall. Standing outside the hall, he bowed again to the Bai clan ancestral hall. As soon as he bowed, the officials followed suit. Ancestral Dragon stood respectfully at the side. Whoosh! After taking a deep breath, Yang Chuan adjusted his mood and turned to look at Ancestral Dragon. He waved his hand. Boom! There was a sudden explosion in Ancestral Dragon's body. A huge aura emanated from Ancestral Dragon's body. "Forget it. All these years, you've established the Bai clan ancestral hall with the power of a mortal. Let's forget about the past grudges. Go wherever you want," Yang Chuan said. Ancestral Dragon looked at himself. The familiar power surged again. The long-awaited freedom was right in front of him. His eyes were slightly wet. Ancestral Dragon suddenly knelt down again. "It was Bai Huang who gave me back my confidence and dignity, and even allowed me to escape. Initially, when I was sealed by Mount Zhong, I still had complaints in my heart. After all these years, I've thought it through. It's all my fault. I'm ungrateful, and I deserve to be punished for my crimes. I don't ask for the Heavenly Emperor's forgiveness. I only ask for the Heavenly Emperor's shelter. Even if I have to pull the carriage for the Heavenly Emperor, I'll be satisfied. I hope the Heavenly Emperor will give me a chance to redeem myself. I beg the Heavenly Emperor." Ancestral Dragon kowtowed. Ancestral Dragon kowtowed. The officials behind Yang Chuan had a complicated expression. Yang Chuan was also silent for a while. Looking at the Bai clan ancestral hall in front of him, he finally sighed and said, "In that case, you and Dragon Fifth will pull the carriage for me." "Yes, thank you, Heavenly Emperor," Ancestral Dragon said gratefully. Chapter 1573. Netherworld, Inner North Continent. Undying Church. Outside the territory, a group of black-robed figures were flying. The one leading them was Mu Shu Jiyu of the Grave Clan. He had fought with Mu Shu Jiyu many times in the past. Now that Mu Shu Jiyu had fallen, Mu Shu Gu's status in the clan had reached the highest level. In his black robe, Mu Shu Gu's appearance was extremely horrifying. His face was covered in bones and flesh, emitting a blue light. "Elder, it's here." A man beside him shouted. Mushu Jiyu squinted his eyes. Undying Church. It's called Undying Territory, Mushu Jiyu said. Elder, this empress is really daring. She's courting death. Is the Undying Territory something she can call Undying Territory? A disciple flattered. That's right, Elder. Only our Grave Clan's territory can be called Undying Territory. This empress is obviously courting death and is arrogant. Another disciple shouted. What's more infuriating is that the empress has established a sect that dares to call itself Undying Church. What do you know? Mushu Jiyu said. Hey! Everyone was stunned. The empress is the daughter of the Great Phoenix Supreme. Of course, she has the qualifications to establish the Undying Church. Mushu Jiyu said. Ah! The Great Phoenix Supreme? The daughter of the Great Phoenix Supreme who created the 72 Paths of Reincarnation? The group of Grave Clan disciples exclaimed. Even if they had poor eyesight, they understood the Empress's identity. The Grave Clan was a clan that grew up in reincarnation. In their cultivation, they needed the help of various paths of reincarnation. In other words, the Grave Clan could be considered a disciple of the Great Phoenix Supreme. Now, there was actually a daughter of the Great Phoenix Supreme. Everyone's expression turned solemn. Although they were only loyal to the clan, no one dared to disrespect the Great Phoenix Supreme. In the First Era, the Great Phoenix Supreme established the Undying Church. Her daughter established the Undying Church. What's wrong with that? Mushu Jiyu said. Yes, we're talking nonsense. Everyone immediately said. Elder, even if the Great Phoenix Supreme is powerful, our Grave Clan leader is definitely not weaker than her. Our clan leader is now at the 18th heaven. He should be on the same level as the Great Phoenix Supreme. That's right. Our clan leader can't be weaker than the Great Phoenix Supreme, everyone said again. All right, you're not allowed to gossip about the Patriarch and the Great Phoenix Supreme anymore, the skeleton said. Yes. Elder, why have we come here today? The skeleton thought for a moment and said, last time, the sect master's plan was disrupted by the Nether River Patriarch. In the end, the Nether River Patriarch failed, and the family master had no choice but to do it again. The Great Force Supremacy had fallen and disappeared, so he could only find another peerless expert from the First Epoch to assist the family master. This time, we are here to persuade the family master. We have a request for the Emperor. Yes. Everyone replied. Go. With that, everyone flew towards the Undying sect. Just as he was about to fly towards the Undying arena. Ming. In the distance, a deafening phoenix cry came from the Undying sect. Then, from a palace in the distance, one could see with the naked eye, a huge illusion of a 72-tailed phoenix suddenly flew out. It soared into the sky and illuminated the entire territory. Boom. Endless rays of light spread out, propitious chi soared into the sky, and spiritual rain fell from the sky. An extremely vast aura spread out from the distance. The skeleton suddenly stopped and looked into the distance in surprise. Elder, what's going on? Everyone asked in surprise. The skeleton said, the Patriarch deduced that the lifeless soul obtained by the ghost fire died in the hands of the Emperor. The Emperor took back the inheritance of the Great Phoenix Supreme. Now, the Emperor should have broken through. Broken through? The Emperor is already at the 17th heaven, the skeleton said with an ugly expression. So what, it's only the 17th heaven? A family disciple said. The skeleton looked over and showed a trace of disdain. What do you know? Have you seen the Emperor's battle? It's always a battle of higher levels. The 17th heaven means that he has the strength to challenge the 18th heaven. Do you think he's trash like you? Ah! 17th heaven? We may have to work even harder this time, the skeleton said bitterly. With that, he continued to lead the group of juniors to the Undying sect underworld, above the inner south continent. Buzz! A dazzling light suddenly bloomed in a place. The void shook slightly, and a white-robed figure walked out from it. It was silver-eyed Yang Chuan. He finally refined the other lifeless souls. But Silver-Eyed was still the same. It was still Silver-Eyed, but at this moment, Silver-Eyed was more dazzling. When he opened his eyes, It was as if he could see through the world. Boom! 6,000 heavenly Tao suddenly surrounded his body. 3,000 heavenly Tao from the Great Thousand World and the Great Evil World became more perfect at this moment. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan stepped out and saw the giant phoenix in the inner north continent soaring into the sky. The Emperor has broken through? Silver-eyed Yang Chuan said with a trace of surprise. After recovering from his shock, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's face turned grave as he took a step forward and disappeared from where he stood. Yang Realm. Outer North Continent, Zhongshan's study. Sector Lord, Yang Chuan has settled down in the Bo clan's old land. Yi Yang said solemnly. Settled down? Zhongshan frowned. Yes. There was only the human Yang Chuan, but the zombie Yang Chuan has been sitting in the dragon carriage all this time. Yi Yang said solemnly. Zhongshan sat on the dragon throne and pondered for a while. As expected of Ying, he is waiting for me to challenge him. Zhongshan laughed. Oh, that Yang Chuan is not in Xianyang, he doesn't want to use the power of one dynasty. Yi Yang was surprised. Zhongshan shook his head. In this battle, Yang Chuan doesn't want to use the power of two dynasties, it's just me and him. Go to the Bo clan's old land and tell them that I will be there in 3 days. Zhongshan said solemnly. Yes. Yi Yang answered and left. After Yi Yang left, Zhongshan stepped out of the study and looked into the distance. Soon, some important officials received the news and rushed over. Sector Lord, are you ready to fight with Yang Chuan? One of the officials asked immediately. The time has come. Zhongshan nodded affirmatively. 3 days later. At the Bo clan's old land, at the peak of a mountain. There was a pavilion on the peak of the mountain and a piece of empty land. Some of the officials were standing on the empty land. In the pavilion sat the human Yang Chuan and the zombie Yang Chuan. There was a stone table in front of them. They were playing chess with each other. Beside them stood the messenger, Yi Yang. Yang Chuan placed his chess piece quietly. There was no noise around. Who? In the distance, there was a sudden sound of wind. Zhongshan stepped on a cloud and came with a group of officials. The two Yang Chuan stopped what they were doing and the human Yang Chuan spoke. You are here. Yang Chuan smiled. Who? Zhongshan stepped into the pavilion. Yi Yang bowed slightly and retreated behind Zhongshan. Zhongshan looked at the two Yang Chuan and smiled. Here? This is the Bai Clan Star Observatory. My grandfather spent most of his time here. Please. Yang Chuan nodded. Zhongshan also nodded. The three of them sat down slowly. An official from Great Shan poured tea for them. Chapter 1574. In the world of the living, the old site of the Bai Clan Observatory. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan sat at the stone table. Why, just the two of you? Zhongshan smiled. Yin Tong, she's on her way, she'll be here soon, the human Yang Chuan said. That's good. Zhongshan raised a cup of tea and smiled. Why, are the two of us not enough? The zombie Yang Chuan smiled. 18 levels? Hehe, it seems like it's a gift from old ancestor Ming He. Congratulations. Zhongshan looked at the zombie Yang Chuan and smiled. Oh. The zombie Yang Chuan looked at Zhongshan with a serious expression. She was an 18-level cultivator and a 19-level mortal body. How could Zhongshan be so indifferent? Zhongshan looked at the zombie Yang Chuan and his expression turned serious. Life-stealing derivation is indeed a great skill. One can become two. If one day they can merge into one, it will be even stronger. Zhongshan said seriously. Yang Chuan took a sip of tea. He looked at Zhongshan and said, I remember that you also know the silhouette clone skill. If you cast it, you can create 10,000 clones. What's the use of 10,000 clones when there's a difference in cultivation level? Old ancestor Ming he had 10,000 clones, but he was still defeated by someone who was one level higher than him. My current cultivation level should be the same as your human body. Zhongshan said seriously. I don't think so. The human Yang Chuan shook his head. Boom. Suddenly, a gust of wind blew, and it was Yin Tong Yang Chuan. Yin Tong Yang Chuan sat down and no one interrupted them. Yin Tong Yang Chuan, seems like you've gained something again. Zhongshan smiled. Yin Tong nodded and did not beat around the bush. All right, now that all three of my clones are here, I want to know what you're relying on, Yang Chuan said seriously. Yang Chuan arranged the battlefield here so that the final battle could be carried out in a civilized manner. All right, actually, you know what I'm relying on, Zhong Shan smiled. While talking, Zhong Shan's eyes flashed and 19 colors appeared. 19 colors? The expressions of the three Yang Chuan slightly changed. Yeah. Suddenly, Zhong Shan shouted from the side. A transparent little beast suddenly appeared on Zhong Shan's shoulder. The little beast seemed both real and illusory. It had 1 head and 8 tails. It was the heaven-swallowing tailed beast that had swallowed Yang Chuan in the past. Heaven-devouring tail beast. Yang Chuan's eyes darkened. Hee, it's called the octuply heavenly tail. I've refined it and merged it with my soul. You can see it as my clone. However, it is no longer the purest heaven-devouring tailed beast. In the Great Thousand World, it devoured a group of divine beasts and transcended with me. In the end, it became the strongest divine beast. Zhong Shan said seriously. The 19 colors in Zhong Shan's eyes vanished and entered the eyes of the 8 extremities heavenly tail. 19 colors? Yang Chuan's expression sank slightly. The first godly beast, it's already in the 19th heavenly layer, much higher than me. Zhong Shan laughed. It's already in the 19th heavenly layer? Yang Chuan asked. That's right. Unfortunately, it's just an illusory 19th heavenly layer. It has the power of the soul, but it can't compare to fate. It doesn't have a physical body, and the physical body is me. So, it still has a flaw. I've always hoped to make it stronger, and now I've been looking for a way to do so. Zhong Shan said with certainty. Yang Chuan nodded. This is your biggest reliance. That's right. With it, I can face the whole world. Zhong Shan nodded confidently. The soul of the 19th heavenly layer, the body of the 17th heavenly layer? Yang Chuan asked curiously. Zhong Shan's situation was exactly the opposite of zombie Yang Chuan's. Of course, the stronger the soul, the more ferocious the body. Zhong Shan shook his head. My cultivation is only at the 15th heavenly layer. The 15th heavenly layer? How can a person of the 15th heavenly layer be as strong as you? Yang Chuan shook his head. I've transcended. My cultivation level can no longer restrict my strength. But, it's not too far off. My cultivation level should be equivalent to the peak of your 17th heavenly layer, just a little bit away from a breakthrough. This point is like a gift from the heavens. I need an opportunity. Zhong Shan said confidently. Yang Chuan looked at the Bag Tian Wei in front of him and frowned. My zombie body, silver pupil body, and your Bag Tian Wei and 10,000 incarnations, what do you think? The human Yang Chuan said solemnly. That's what I think too. Zhong Shan nodded. The two of them gave up their strongest advantage and prepared to fight with their weaknesses. Not far away, the two princes were watching from outside the pavilion. Big brother, I don't understand. Since father and Zhong Shan are fighting, why aren't they using their full strength? Hell King asked Xing Wang curiously. Xing Wang Fusu frowned. He looked at them and finally said, because they want to keep something as a memento. Oh, what do you mean? Hell King was puzzled. I think father wants to keep something unknown to restrain himself. Xing Wang took a deep breath and said. You mean the great monarch altar? Hell King's eyes brightened. Xing Wang nodded. 8 extreme heavenly tails, 19 levels of heavenly soul, and zombie king father, 19 levels of mortal body. As for who is stronger and who is weaker, even Zhong Shan and father do not know. But if we stay here, there is still hope. Zhong Shan should understand father's thoughts. Thus, they are prepared to fight with their weaknesses. Hell King nodded solemnly. In the pavilion. I'm not fighting. The silver pupil Yang Chuan looked at the human Yang Chuan. Even with pure logic, he couldn't see through it. You're not fighting. The human Yang Chuan nodded. Since that's the case, I'll leave first. Something big might have happened in the Undying sect. I'll go and check it out. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan said. All right. The human Yang Chuan nodded. Standing up, the silver pupil Yang Chuan took a step forward and disappeared in front of everyone. Zhongshan, my grandfather used to disturb fate with his 13th heavenly layer cultivation base. He must have done something big, right? The human Yang Chuan looked at Zhongshan. Zhongshan's expression was solemn as he nodded. By Huang's great wisdom, he managed to deduce the past, present, and future. He even managed to disturb fate. I think it's more than that. The Yang Chuan said solemnly. Kwong. Zhongshan took out a great monarch altar. What do you mean? The Yang Chuan was puzzled. Indeed, Bai Huang divined the beginning of heaven and earth. He even used a secret technique to obtain an ancient secret treasure and gave it to me. This treasure is the main culprit that alarmed fate. Bai Huang once said that this ancient secret treasure could pose a threat to fate. He asked me to take good care of it in order to face fate in the future. Zhongshan said solemnly. My grandfather gave you an ancient secret treasure? The Yang Chuan asked solemnly. This secret treasure has been kept by me. I can't take it out and reveal even a trace of its aura. Once it is revealed, fate will sense it. Leave it with me. Don't worry, I, Zhongshan, swear that this treasure will only target fate. I will never take it out. Zhongshan said solemnly. Yang Chuan stared at Zhongshan for a while and didn't force him. All right, as you said, this ancient secret treasure will be of great use in the future. I hope you will keep your promise. Yang Chuan nodded. Although it was an ancient secret treasure that Bai Huang obtained from his divination, Yang Chuan didn't force him to take it. This was because Yang Chuan believed in Zhongshan's character. This monarch altar is a token of my apology. I know that you want to collect the 9 great altars, but everyone has their own path. I won't try to persuade you. I only wish you the best. Zhongshan said solemnly. Zhongshan looked at the great monarch altar in front of him. Yang Chuan nodded. Without any hesitation, he stood up and stepped forward. Boom. With a step, he refined the great monarch altar. In the blink of an eye, the human Yang Chuan and the zombie Yang Chuan both stepped on 4 pieces of the great monarch altar. The last piece was in Wu Zhong's hands. He sat back down. Let's start our battle on this chessboard, the human Yang Chuan said. The chessboard on the table was used by the previous 2 Yang Chuans and it was halfway through. The human Yang Chuan waved his hand and the black and white pieces moved to one side. A huge chessboard was restarted. When Yang Chuan waved his hand, a cypress tree suddenly appeared. It slowly rotated and connected with the stars. Above the starry sky, the 3,000 stars in the deep star layer suddenly moved. The stars in the underworld quickly moved to the yang world. Rumble. The starry sky rumbled and the world shook. For a moment, countless experts looked up and saw the stars changing drastically. The 3,000 stars split into 2 sides, north and south. At the entrance of the palace, Dongfang Bubai stepped out of the palace with the lotus god and looked at the starry sky. The sky as the chessboard and the stars as the pieces. What a huge chessboard. Teacher, there are 3,000 pieces. The lotus god said in a daze. No, look again. The lotus god shook her head. In the pavilion in the Bai clan's old grounds. Under the universe in the palm, countless small stars surrounded the chessboard. Other than the 3,000 pieces, there were also countless small stars that connected the stars in the shallow star layer. Looking at the chessboard was like looking at the starry sky. Using the chessboard to connect the stars in the sky. Above the starry sky, intersecting galaxies gradually formed, forming a huge chessboard. After comprehending the Tao of Heaven, I can completely control the 3,000 stars. Today, you and I will travel the star web and explore the secrets of heaven together, Yang Chuan said solemnly. All right. Zhongshan smiled and nodded. This wasn't just a battle, it was also a sharing of realms. Zhongshan took the black pieces and Yang Chuan took the white pieces. Thank you, Monarch Altar, you first. Yang Chuan said seriously. Then I won't hold back. Zhongshan nodded. He picked up a black piece with his index finger and looked at the intersecting chessboard. Then, he placed a piece on it. Pa. Boom. As the piece was placed, a loud noise suddenly sounded in the starry sky. It was a star that moved to the focal point of the galaxy, at the center of the chessboard. Tian Yuan. The lotus god looked at the starry sky and said seriously, "Monarch's chess, first piece, Tian Yuan." Dongfang Bubai said solemnly. As Zhongshan placed his piece, countless small stars in the shallow star layer moved quickly as if there were countless officials accompanying him. Yang Chuan looked at the chessboard and smiled. He picked up a white piece and placed it on the chessboard slowly. Pa. Boom. The stars in the starry sky trembled as another star was placed. King of 9 and 5, the king of 9 and 5. Yang Chuan, are you not willing to fall behind? Dongfang Bubai said solemnly. In the pavilion in the Bai clan's old grounds. Wang. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan's minds seemed to have entered the chessboard as they placed their pieces. It was as if they had entered the starry sky. The two wills clashed with the stars in the sky. Chapter 1575. Boom. Boom. The giant star in the starry sky fell, accompanied by countless smaller stars. It was like an army of thousands of men and horses. The repeated moves had alarmed countless beings in the Yang realm. The people in the Yang realm looked at the starry sky in confusion. The stars gathered on the huge chessboard, and the giant star became the chess pieces. Countless living beings revealed looks of shock. Who is playing chess? How can it be so domineering? The sky as the board, and the stars as the pieces? Is this a game of chess? Countless people were shocked, but almost everyone looked up at the starry sky and could not move their eyes away. There seemed to be a soul-stirring power in the starry sky that made people's minds slowly enter the chessboard. Even those who did not know how to play chess gradually saw something on the chessboard. Dongfang Bubai, Lotus Goddess, Wu Jiong, and Fuxi were all looking at the vast chessboard. Master, I feel that this game is not that simple. Lotus Goddess frowned. Dongfang Bubai nodded and said, "Be careful. Don't let your mind be distracted. Master, don't worry. This is just a game between Zhongshan and Yang Chuan. No matter how weak I am, I will not be distracted by a game of chess," Lotus Goddess said confidently. Lotus Goddess was also a chess master and a transcendent being. Naturally, she had boundless confidence. Dongfang Bubai saw that Lotus Goddess did not believe him, so he did not say anything else. Boom. 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 When Yang Chuan and Zhongshan placed 100 pieces, a huge change finally occurred in the world. Rumble. Rolling auspicious clouds appeared in all directions, covering the sky and the sun, leaving only the chessboard in the starry sky. The blazing sun that was originally in the sky was instantly covered by the clouds. The world was calm, and everything was quiet. Only the vast chessboard in the starry sky shone brightly. The world was dark. This should have been a shocking matter, but at this moment, the world was quiet. In a city, in a restaurant, eh? What's wrong? The sky suddenly darkened. A puzzled voice came from the restaurant. Waiter, go outside and see what's going on. Is it going to rain or something? Why is it suddenly dark? Ah, okay. The waiter quickly walked out of the restaurant. Ah. The waiter cried out in shock. What happened? The waiter looked at the streets in shock. On the streets, countless citizens seemed to have turned into statues at this moment. They were motionless as everyone raised their heads to look at the sky. It wasn't just this street. Everyone in the entire city seemed to have been hit by the body-freezing spell. They were completely motionless, and all of them were looking up at the sky. Little Fool looked up at the sky in confusion. The sun and moon in the sky were dim, leaving only countless stars arranged in mysterious orbits. Little Fool did not know how to play chess, but the moment he saw the chessboard in the starry sky, he focused his mind. It was as if his soul had left his body and shot into the sky. He charged into one of the stars in the starry sky. Little Fool seemed to have lost his soul and stopped moving. He stared at the starry sky as if he was staring at his own soul. Like everyone else on the street, the waiter stopped moving. Waiter, what's going on outside? An impatient voice called out from inside the restaurant. Waiter, are you dead? I'm asking you a question. A drunkard walked out while cursing. The moment he came out, He was stunned by the scene on the street. He followed everyone's gaze and looked at the sky. Whoosh! His soul also shot into the sky and entered one of the stars. His entire body froze. This scene was happening all over the world. More and more people had their souls taken away. It was like a snowball that grew bigger and bigger. As more and more souls were taken away, the starry sky absorbed more and more souls. In the end, one didn't even need to look at it to be able to forcefully absorb soul power. Rumble. As the chess pieces were placed, the starry sky became more and more resplendent. More and more souls rushed into the sky, and the game became more and more dazzling. At this moment, even the Lotus Goddess was in a daze. It was as if the Lotus Goddess's soul was about to be taken away. "Wake up!" Dongfang Bubai shouted. Buzz! The Lotus Goddess suddenly quivered. Huff, huff. The Lotus Goddess was so shocked that she broke out in a cold sweat. She took a few deep breaths to calm down. "How is this possible? Master, how did this game of chess take away my soul?" the Lotus Goddess said in disbelief. She was a Transcendence Realm cultivator and a chess master. How could she be affected by this game of chess? The Lotus Goddess was shocked. "Zhongshan and Yang Chuan have messed up the heavenly secret," Dongfang Bubai said. "Huh! Everything in the world is developing according to fate. Everything is under the control of fate. However, Yang Chuan and Zhongshan have messed up the heavenly secrets with the stars in the sky. They took away the souls of all living beings and messed up their fates," Dongfang Bubai said. "Oh! The starry sky will soon take away all the souls of all living beings in the world of the living. When that happens, the fates of all living beings will change greatly," Dongfang Bubai said. "But what's the use of that?" The Lotus Goddess was puzzled. The starry sky now contains countless souls of all living beings. There are trillions of souls, and each soul is a different kind of thought. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan are commanding trillions of thoughts. Their own thoughts are also training within them. The two of them are affecting all living beings, and all living beings are affecting them. In the battle between the two of them, their souls are boundless," Dongfang Bubai said. "Their souls are boundless?" The Lotus Goddess was confused. She still did not understand. At the same time, in the pavilion at the old site of the Bo clan, when Yang Chuan and Zhongshan placed their chess pieces, they had already closed their eyes. Their souls were almost completely immersed in the game of chess. Through this game of chess, the two of them created a world of living beings in the starry sky. When they placed their chess pieces, they created a world. When the souls of all living beings entered this world, they did not have any subjective thoughts. It was as if they were all in a daze, standing in various places in space. And in this chessboard space, there were two dazzling figures. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan sat cross-legged on the peaks of two mountains. With a wave of their hands, they mobilized thousands of soldiers and horses to attack each other. The two of them were using their own influence to recruit living beings as believers. The impact of their souls and the attacks of their layouts were not physical. But in this chessboard space, it was unusually majestic. The souls of all living beings became the two of them fighting over each other. Time after time, they fought until the heavens collapsed and the earth cracked. Some souls of all living beings walked to Zhongshan's seat in a daze. They worshipped him devoutly. As they worshipped, the power of faith entered Zhongshan's body. Zhongshan could feel the world more and could mobilize the endless power around him. Rumble. One by one, the heavenly Tao was formed and slowly surrounded Zhongshan. Rays of light shot into the sky and countless auspicious vapors. Zhongshan gradually felt like he was in a sea of power. The vast and endless power listened to his command. Boom! Under Zhongshan's power, the galloping army turned into divine beasts and immortals and attacked Yang Chuan. It was the same in Yang Chuan's direction. The astral power formed thousands of soldiers and horses. At that moment, they were also strengthened by the endless power and rushed towards Zhongshan. Boom! The two of them were like the masters of the world. They commanded countless immortal wills for their own power. Their immortal wills gradually filled the entire space and enveloped more and more souls of all living beings. Gradually, The two of them forgot where they were and slowly sank into the endless sea of thoughts. Boom. The entire space formed two conflicting thoughts. They did not give in and clashed with each other. Every time they clashed, Yang Chuan and Zhongshan's immortal wills would become more vigorous. The souls of all living beings in the world were absorbed, but there were still some who managed to resist. Dongfang Bubai and Lotus Goddess looked at the starry sky calmly. 10 days later. There were more and more stars. On the chessboard in the starry sky, two giant shadows could be vaguely seen. They were vast and seemed to be connected to the heavens and the earth. The two shadows looked like Zhongshan and Yang Chuan. They were surrounded by endless light and the back of their heads shone in all directions. All kinds of colorful lights filled the starry sky. The originally monotonous starry sky had become extremely dazzling and beautiful. Master, those two wouldn't be the souls of Zhongshan and Yang Chuan, would they? 10 days. It's only been 10 days and they're already powerful enough to dominate the starry sky? Lotus Goddess was shocked. It's them. They used the thoughts of all living beings to train their minds and they gathered endless faith to comprehend the laws of heaven. Their minds clashed, but they climbed to the peak. They didn't crush each other like enemies, but they kept pushing each other higher in the battle. It's rare to see such a battle, Dongfang Bubai exclaimed. Pushing each other higher? That's right. It's just like Yang Chuan's comprehension of the laws of heaven. He was just a step away in the past, but now he's comprehending more and more through this battle with Zhongshan. It won't be long before he completely crosses the threshold. And Zhongshan's comprehension of the laws of heaven will also be pushed to a higher level because of this battle, Dongfang Bubai said. How can there be such cultivation? Lotus Goddess showed a hint of bitterness. Close friends are hard to come by, but enemies are hard to find. Especially enemies who are similar in strength and admire each other. They're both friends and foes. On the path of cultivation, such friends and foes are the most precious, Dongfang Bubai exclaimed. Another 20 days later. Boom. There was a loud sound in the starry sky. Zhongshan and Yang Chuan's shadows grew bigger and bigger. As their bodies moved, they were majestic and the stars trembled. And in the chessboard space, the souls of all living beings quickly gathered. Faith surged into the minds of the two. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan had forgotten where they were and forgot about each other. They only knew that they had to suppress each other. Gradually, the two shadows got closer and closer to each other. Each of them pointed a finger. Although their fingers were simple, their fingertips seemed to contain the mysteries of heaven and earth. They collided with each other. Boom. Around the two of them, the way of the heavens exploded. They were severely injured. Instantly, the world shook. The fingertips did not separate. It was as if they wanted to determine the winner. Just like that, the world shook and focused on the place where the two fingers touched. Their believers and the countless souls of all living beings also looked at the place where the two fingers collided. Buzz. A buzzing sound came from their fingertips. Boom. Boom. The two huge shadows exploded almost at the same time. Boom. The entire chessboard space also exploded instantly. Countless souls returned to where they came from in an instant. The huge explosion blasted all the souls back. Buzz. In the world, countless people suddenly quivered. It was as if they had a long dream. What's going on? Why am I here? I remember now. I was looking at the starry sky earlier. I seem to have broken through the bottleneck. I also feel that my realm seems to have increased a lot. What happened before? Countless living beings revealed looks of confusion. At the old site of the Bai clan, there were countless auspicious clouds above Zhongshan and Yang Chuan's heads. Their bodies were emitting dazzling light. The two of them did not open their eyes. In this battle, they had each comprehended something extremely important. Boom. Surging heaven and earth essence chi rushed toward the two of them. Chapter 1576. In the pavilion at the old site of the Bai clan, surging heaven and earth essence chi rushed towards Yang Chuan and Zhongshan. Yang Chuan sat at the side and looked at the two quietly. Boom. Zhongshan's body suddenly made a loud noise. In an instant, Surging Dao sounds rushed into the sky. The Yang world was filled with Dao sounds. Wherever the Dao sounds passed, the sky was filled with pink lotus flowers. The pink lotus flowers were incomparably beautiful and had a peaceful and majestic aura. Countless pink lotus flowers scattered, but the lotus god in the eastern sect was shocked. What kind of lotus is this? Why is it stronger than my green lotus? Lotus god was shocked. Zhongshan broke through. Invincible East said. What? Impossible, impossible. Lotus god exclaimed in disbelief. How could a transcendent break through? Although Zhongshan had told Lotus god before, Lotus god did not believe him at all. A transcendent was already the limit of cultivation. How could one go further? She turned her head and looked towards the north. Indeed, in the pavilion, Zhongshan's body was surrounded by countless divine beast phantoms. Dao sounds rumbled and the sky was filled with light. A huge pink lotus flower appeared above Zhongshan's head. It was like the leader of all lotuses in the world. Even from a distance, Lotus God could feel an extremely majestic aura. How can this be? He can break through? Lotus God's face was bitter. Boom. Yang Chuan's body also made a loud noise. In an instant, Dao sounds different from Zhongshan's filled the world. Wherever the Dao sounds passed, countless cypress phantoms appeared. It was as if they were fighting against the pink lotus. 18th heaven? Invincible East said solemnly. Yang Chuan is also at the 18th heaven? Lotus God was a little numb. Yes, this is the scene of the 18th heaven. His aura surges and his Dao sounds burn the sky. Invincible East nodded. Lotus God looked at the two from the outer north continent. Her face was bitter as she let out a long sigh. The people she looked down on in the past had now reached a level that she could only look up to. Invincible East's eyes flashed with a serious light. Yang Chuan and Zhongshan had both reached an extremely high level. Whoosh! Yang Chuan opened his eyes and shot out two 18-colored lights. The 18th layer of heaven was the highest cultivation in the world. Taking a deep breath, Yang Chuan looked at Zhongshan in front of him. Zhongshan's expression was reserved, but from the countless pink lotuses, it could be seen that Zhongshan's strength was not any weaker than Yang Chuan. Congratulations. Zhongshan smiled. Same to you, Yang Chuan said. All the chess pieces on the stone table in front of the three of them had been reduced to dust. Above the starry sky, countless stars seemed to have been completely disrupted. They were still stuck at the scene where the two of them made their final moves. This game of chess is indeed a little too big. Zhongshan laughed. That's good too. This chess game contains our realms. Let's leave it for the world to observe. Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. All right. Zhongshan nodded. All around, the officials of both sides revealed curious expressions. Who had won this battle? Transcendence, immortality. You are now at the 16th layer of heaven, while I am at the 18th layer of heaven. Yet, I can't defeat you. How mysterious. Yang Chuan said in a deep voice. I can't defeat you either. Transcendents are easy, but cultivation is much harder. It may take a long time for me to break through again. Zhongshan sighed. If others said so, I would believe it. But you, Zhongshan? Haha, I will look forward to it. Yang Chuan laughed. Zhongshan smiled and did not say much. This time, the two of them used this battle to break through. Zhongshan also had the Bag Tian Wei, which made him even more ferocious. The two of them fought a round and it was a draw. But now, the two of them did not want to continue. Although they had their own means, at this moment, neither of them had the mood to continue fighting. Yang Chuan suddenly stretched out his right hand. Wang. A pink bead appeared in his palm. The bead seemed to seal a transparent heaven-swallowing tailed beast. Yi Ye, Yi Ye. The Bag Tian Wei on Zhongshan's shoulder cried out excitedly. The Bag Tian Wei instinctively wanted to pounce on the bead. Its eyes were filled with a strong desire. This is. Zhongshan restrained the Bag Tian Wei and asked solemnly. Although your Bag Tian Wei has devoured many divine beasts and became the #1 divine beast, I think its original form is still the heaven-swallowing tailed beast. This small bead is the sole essence of the 201 heaven-swallowing tailed beast that I faced in the past. I think it will be useful for your Bag Tian Wei. Yang Chuan handed it over. Yi Wei. The Bag Tian Wei rushed over and swallowed the bead. Zhong Shan did not even have time to stop it. He smiled bitterly. Thank you. This small bead will be of great help to my Bag Tian Wei. It can even help it perfect itself and become stronger. But I don't understand. Why are you giving it to me? Zhong Shan asked seriously. Yang Chuan smiled bitterly. You should know that I am standing on the great emperor's altar. But I remember that you were able to break free from the suppression of fate. You should be stronger now. Zhong Shan said solemnly. Fate? So what if I am stronger? Fate is too strong. Just in case, if I am really corroded by fate in the future, I hope that there will be someone who can stop me. The enmity between me and fate is irreconcilable. If there comes a day when I become fate, please kill me. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Kill you? Zhong Shan's pupils shrank. Taking a deep breath, Yang Chuan shook his head and said solemnly, I am not jealous that you are stronger. I am just leaving a glimmer of hope for the common people. If I am unlucky enough to become a parasite, I will not be able to resist. Please do not be soft-hearted. You must kill me. You must. Around them, the officials of the two dynasties looked at Yang Chuan in surprise. Even Zhong Shan was extremely shocked at this moment. Finally, after a moment of silence, Zhong Shan said, although we are unable to determine the winner in other aspects, I know that you have surpassed me in one aspect. No, you have surpassed most people in the world. Your breadth of mind. At least among the people I know, no one is as broad-minded as you. Yang Chuan continued to stare at Zhong Shan. I promise you, I will. If you are unable to extricate yourself from the parasitic fate, I will do my best to destroy it, Zhong Shan said in a resolute tone. Millimeter. Yang Chuan nodded with a smile. Zhong Shan smiled and waved his hand. Rumble. The entire Great Thousand World shook. Then, the major territories in the Great Thousand World moved quickly. Some territories moved to the north, while others moved to the south. Boom. The Great Thousand World surged toward the celestial boundary. This is the Great Thousand Worlds under my control. As long as it is a territory of the Great Thousand Worlds, I will give you the corresponding territory of the Great Thousand Worlds. These were all conquered by you in the Great Thousand Worlds. Now, I will return them to their rightful owner. Rumble. The Outer East Continent, the Outer South Continent, the Outer East Continent, the Outer South Continent, and the Inner South Continent quickly merged with the Great Thousand World. The four realms shook again. Chapter 1577. Rumble. The four worlds trembled, and the 6 continents of the Great Thousand World quickly returned to Great Shun. The world was in chaos. The two Yang Chuans and Zhong Shans stood quietly in the pavilion, watching the drastic changes in the world. After experiencing it several times, the officials of Great Shun no longer needed Yang Chuan's guidance. They knew how to comfort the people. Rumble. The world shook. Under Zhong Shan's full power, it was much faster than before. In just one day, the Great Thousand World had already merged with the first world, Great Shun Heaven Realm. The heaven and earth essence Qi became denser. Hu. Zhong Shan let out a long breath. It was obvious that completing a task that took months in one day consumed a lot of energy. The human Yang Chuan smiled and was about to say some words of gratitude when the two Yang Chuan's expression changed. What's wrong? Zhong Shan asked in surprise. The human Yang Chuan's face suddenly turned ferocious. Bastard, grave immortal king, you're courting death. With a loud shout, the two Yang Chuan soared into the sky and rushed towards Xianyang's Yellow Springs Road. Zhong Shan, something happened to Great Shun today. Let's meet again another day. Yang Chuan's voice came from afar. The Empress, Crown Prince, and officials of Great Shun were confused. What happened to Great Shun? Why did the Great Emperor leave in such a hurry? Liu Gang, quickly contact Xianyang and Great Qin City. Ask them what happened. Lu Buwei immediately shouted. Yes. Liu Gang replied. Everyone quickly became worried. Realm Lord Zhong, my father has left. We will also take our leave. Punishment King Fu Su stepped forward and said. Zhong Shan nodded. He knew that something big must have happened to Great Shen, so he didn't ask them to stay. Let's go. Mo Yushi shouted. The group of people flew towards Xianyang in a grandiose manner. Something happened to Xianyang? What happened? Zhong Shan stood in the pavilion with his officials and watched the officials of Great Shen leave. His expression changed slightly. Realm Lord, it seems like something big happened in Xianyang, Yi Yang said at the side. Zhong Shan nodded. Suddenly, a loud explosion came from the sky. The world was filled with countless red and blue lights. The lights covered the sky, and the whole world was filled with this light. The light was like a surging river, flowing towards the west. Roar. In the sky above Xianyang, a golden dragon suddenly roared. In an instant, it rushed towards the west with a red and blue light. Luck path. Zhong Shan's expression changed. It's the same for our boundless universe. Boundless luck is flowing away. Realm Lord, could it be that the great Dao warrior has come out? Yi Yang's expression changed. Head Dao warrior, the ancestor of the life usurper master, it seems like he is about to come out, Zhong Shan said solemnly. Then, do we have to control the great thousand worlds' fate? Yi Yang asked worriedly. No need, do you still remember the great force? Zhong Shan shook his head. That's right, if the head Dao warrior succeeds, that would be the best. If he doesn't, he will immortalize again, and the luck will return to the land. Yi Yang said seriously. Head Dao warrior. He is not an ordinary person. 1 life, 2 luck, 3 feng shui, for accumulation of yin virtue, 5 study. Cultivating luck, to be ranked right after cultivating life, he must be something extraordinary. Rumor has it that the head Dao warrior is the person closest to destiny. This time, when he comes out, there will be another shocking battle. Zhong Shan said seriously. Oh right, just now, Yang Chuan hurried back, could it be related to this? Yi Yang said solemnly. Zhong Shan squinted his eyes, maybe. As he said that, Zhong Shan's gaze followed Yang Chuan into the netherworld. 1 month ago. Yin Tong Yang Chuan left the old site of the Bo clan and went straight to the inner North Continent. Who? Not long later, Yin Tong Yang Chuan arrived at the inner North Continent, outside of the Undying Sect. Who is it? A group of Undying Sect's disciples shouted angrily from afar. When the group of disciples flew closer, they saw a man in a snow-white robe standing in the air. A pair of silver eyes were breathtaking. However, this was not the main point. The main point was this person's appearance. Great Emperor Di. Suddenly, someone exclaimed. Yang Di, may I know why you are here? An Undying Sect's disciple immediately asked respectfully. Everyone knew that Di had an empress who looked exactly like their sect master. Thus, no one dared to slight Yang Chuan. Not to mention, with Yang Chuan's current status, even without the previous relationship, these Undying Sect's disciples would not dare to be presumptuous. I want to see the emperor, Yin Tong Yang Chuan said directly. The sect master is meeting a guest, Yang Di, please, the Undying Sect's disciple immediately said. Although they could not immediately introduce Yang Chuan, it was normal etiquette to lead him to the Undying Sect. Soon, Yin Tong Yang Chuan arrived in front of the Undying Hall. Rumble. At this time, the game between Yang Chuan and Zhong Shan began. The rolling stars retreated from the netherworld, guided by Yang Chuan's magic power to the world of the living. Yin Tong Yang Chuan raised his head to look at the sky. The other Undying Sect's disciples were also at a loss. What happened to the sky? Bang. Not far away, the Undying Hall's doors opened with a loud bang. The emperor stepped out of the hall, followed by a group of black-robed people. When the group of black-robed people stepped out of the hall, they were slightly stunned when they saw Yang Chuan not far away. Everyone looked up at the starry sky. Yang Chuan? The emperor frowned as he looked at Yin Tong Yang Chuan. Thank you for last time, Yang Chuan solemnly said. Last time in the Undying Space, the emperor dealt with the ghost fire in Jin Tong's grave and left Yin Tong Yang Chuan with a lifeless soul, causing Yin Tong Yang Chuan to become stronger. It's nothing. The emperor shook his head. Congratulations on breaking through to the 17th layer of heaven. Yin Tong Yang Chuan congratulated him again. It's just my mother's inheritance. This sky full of stars is your masterpiece? The emperor asked in a low voice. Yin Tong Yang Chuan nodded. On the side, the Undying sect's disciples looked at Yin Tong Yang Chuan in shock. Even the group of black-robed people looked at Yang Chuan in shock. The emperor was not surprised, but said, I know why you're here. Coincidentally, I'm going out. There are 108 murals in my hall for my mother's inheritance. They involve lifeless souls. You can look at them. You're going out? Yin Tong Yang Chuan asked. The emperor nodded and did not say much. Yin Tong Yang Chuan was tactful and did not ask any more questions. Let's go, the emperor said to the group of black-robed people. Okay, please. The skeleton smiled. The group of people stepped into the sky and headed towards the Great Kindness World in the west. The silver-eyed Yang Chuan looked on curiously, but in the end, he did not follow. He walked towards the Undying Hall. At this moment, with the emperor's instructions, the Undying sect's disciples did not stop him. The moment the silver-eyed Yang Chuan entered the hall, he immediately saw the murals around the hall. The murals were profound and each of them seemed to be a world of their own. The silver-eyed Yang Chuan was shocked. Sitting cross-legged, Yin Tong Yang Chuan carefully deduced the murals in the hall. The emperor followed the group of black-robed people and flew towards the western outer continent. Is what you said true? The emperor still had a trace of doubt. Of course it's true. The patriarch said that the other Undying domain where my grave clan is located is actually the Great Phoenix Supreme's training ground. The Great Phoenix Supreme's 72 reincarnations were in that place. The skeleton assured. That's the place where my mother reincarnated? The emperor asked in a low voice. Of course. The patriarch invited you this time to witness it. The skeleton affirmed. If I find out that you lied to me, none of you will live. The emperor said coldly. His voice was cold, and instantly, a piercing chill entered everyone's body, causing them to feel a chill in their hearts. No, how could it be? The skeleton laughed. Grave Immortal King revived the great power last time, but it was snatched away by the Nether River Patriarch. This time, he must be refining another powerhouse of the First Era. It can't be my mother, right? The emperor narrowed his eyes. No, the patriarch said so. Don't worry, it's definitely not her, the skeleton immediately said. That's good. Otherwise, I will slaughter your entire grave clan, the emperor said coldly. Ha ha ha. Cold sweat appeared on the skeleton's forehead. The group flew quickly and soon arrived at the western outer continent. They quickly passed through the Great Kindness World's reincarnation passage and entered the Great Kindness World's Yang realm. The group flew quickly and soon arrived outside the Great Kindness World's Undying domain. Half of the Undying domain was full of life, with divine beasts flying in the sky. The other half was full of death, with endless skeletons lying on the ground. In the distance, at the boundary between life and death, there was a huge palace. In the palace, Grave Immortal King opened his eyes. He knew that the person he was waiting for had arrived. Outside the domain, the emperor closed his eyes and sensed. After a while, he took a deep breath. As expected, the emperor said indifferently, I didn't lie to you, did I? The skeleton laughed. However, the emperor ignored the skeleton and looked at the Immortal King Palace in the distance. Grave Immortal King slowly stepped out from the Immortal King Palace. Half of his body was human and the other half was skeleton. It looked extremely awkward. Junior sister, welcome to my Undying domain. Grave Immortal King revealed a creepy smile. I'm not your junior sister, the emperor said coldly. Grave Immortal King said nonchalantly, my grave clan grew up in reincarnation. Even if the Great Phoenix Supreme did not acknowledge us, we are still her disciples. You are the daughter of the Great Phoenix Supreme, so you are my junior sister. The emperor said coldly. Junior sister, please, Grave Immortal King said. With that, Grave Immortal King flew out of the Immortal King Palace and to a mountain peak in the area of life. The emperor also flew over. They landed on a mountain peak. Everyone looked down at the valley. In the valley, there was an extremely deep pool. The pool overflowed with a blue aura. Traces of blue aura were emitted. The emperor sniffed slightly. Suddenly, his eyes darkened. This is. Junior sister, look carefully. This is the place where the great Phoenix Supreme ascended. Her physical body passed through here and filled the world. From here, you can directly enter reincarnation. Grave Immortal King said with a smile. So what? The emperor looked at Grave Immortal King in a deep voice. Although the emperor wanted to immediately enter to investigate, he restrained himself. Grave Immortal King would not be so kind to let him see this deep cave. He must be up to something. Junior sister, you don't have to worry about me. Don't worry, I'm not looking for the great Phoenix Supreme this time. I'm looking for someone else. Grave Immortal King said in a deep voice. Oh. The person closest to fate in the first era. Grave Immortal King said solemnly. The person closest to fate. The emperor was slightly taken aback. Although he had received the great Phoenix Supreme's inheritance, he did not know much about the first era. Head Dao Sovereign. Chapter 1578. Head Dao Warrior. The emperor was puzzled. Head Dao Warrior is the person closest to fate. At least in that era, he was the person closest to fate. Not because of his strength, but because of his cultivation. Rumor has it that his ability to predict the world is comparable to fate. Tomb Immortal King did not hide anything. The emperor looked at Tomb Immortal King doubtfully. Of course, I went to the place where Head Dao Warrior was immortalized and found that the place had changed. In other words, Head Dao Warrior has been reincarnated. Tomb Immortal King said. Reincarnated? That's right. He has passed the cycle of reincarnation. There must be a record of him in the cycle of reincarnation. I've invited you here today to find out who the great Dao Paragon is, the Tomb Immortal Emperor said solemnly. Oh. The emperor looked at Tomb Immortal King. The emperor was now at 17 levels, but the emperor was fearless. Even Tomb Immortal King could not threaten him. Tomb Immortal King also understood that he needed help, so he was very polite and even humbled himself to call her junior sister. I'll be frank. If we enter the depths of this cave, there is a secret treasure of the great Phoenix Supreme. My Mu clan has never been able to obtain it, but since it belongs to the great Phoenix Supreme, my Mu clan will not force you to take it. Since junior sister has obtained it, it naturally belongs to junior sister. However, if you want to obtain that secret treasure, you will have to stir up the cycle of reincarnation. When you do so, a piece of 3 live stone will appear. I can use the 3 live stone to find the reincarnation of the great Dao Sovereign. Oh! If that's the case, why do you need me? The emperor's eyes flashed with disbelief. Junior sister, you don't know. How can it be easy to disturb the cycle of reincarnation? Although I'm at the 18th heavenly layer, I'm still rejected by the cycle of reincarnation. If I try, I might even destroy the cycle of reincarnation. However, I have no way to investigate the cycle of reincarnation. Only junior sister can do that. Also, it's not easy to investigate the cycle of reincarnation. You need the inheritance left behind by the Phoenix Supreme. Oh! The emperor looked at Tomb Immortal King. Tomb Immortal King waved his hand. Boom! Suddenly, 12 paths of reincarnation shot into the sky. Is this the honor of the mighty Phoenix? The emperor asked in a deep voice. That's right. Back then, the great Phoenix Supreme left behind the 6 paths of reincarnation. The Supreme Fire Phoenix, the Supreme Ice Phoenix, the Supreme Dark Phoenix, the Supreme Blue One, the Supreme Thunder Phoenix, and the Supreme Majestic Phoenix. Phosphorus Bone obtained the Supreme Majestic Phoenix in the cycle of reincarnation, which allowed him to read the records of the 3 live stone. Tomb Immortal King laughed. The emperor looked at the 2 of them, and a trace of displeasure flashed in his heart. However, no one objected to it. After all, it wasn't a big loss for the emperor. Moreover, there were still the treasures left behind by his mother in the reincarnation cycle. Naturally, he couldn't let it fall into the hands of others. Junior sister, How is it? You take your treasures, we'll check the 3 live stone. We just need to know about the reincarnation of a great Tao paragon, Tomb Immortal King said. The emperor thought for a moment and looked at the deep acupoints below. In the end, he nodded. Since there were no losses, the emperor naturally wouldn't stop them. Stepping forward, emperor instantly jumped into the deep cave. Boom! The surging power of samsara instantly enveloped the empress. The empress was the daughter of the great Phoenix Supreme. Naturally, she would not be harmed. Soon, the emperor reached the depths of samsara, where a huge node appeared. The emperor walked deeper and deeper. You're here. A woman's soft voice suddenly came from the depths of samsara. The emperor was slightly startled. The emperor felt a strong sense of familiarity from the voice. Mother! The emperor called out with a trembling voice. Come, my son. The woman's voice continued. It seemed to form a path for the emperor to continue walking along. However, at this moment, a huge rock slowly emerged from the original cave. The huge rock quickly blocked the entrance, preventing anyone from entering. However, Tomb Immortal King didn't need to enter anymore. When he saw the huge yellow rock, his eyes lit up. As expected, I guessed correctly. Tomb Immortal King, quick, mobilize the power of samsara. Use this tear left behind by a great Tao paragon in the first era of compassion for the common people to find the reincarnation of a great Tao paragon. Tomb Immortal King said. Yes. Tomb Immortal King immediately took the teardrop that emitted 18 colors of light respectfully. Boom. The power of samsara quickly flowed into the 3 live stone. In an instant, countless lights appeared on the 3 live stone, as if it recorded all the reincarnations of the common people. Tomb Immortal King quickly placed the teardrop on the stone. The teardrop was absorbed by the 3 live stone. In an instant, all the lights and shadows disappeared. An extremely beautiful woman appeared in the light and shadows. She looked at the sky with compassion, and a teardrop fell from the corner of her eye. It was the teardrop from before. Then, the light and shadows moved quickly, gradually revealing the reincarnation of the woman. Another beautiful woman appeared in the image. Quick, find out where this is. This woman is the reincarnation of a great Tao paragon, Tomb Immortal King said. However, Tomb Immortal King said strangely, Master, you don't have to look for her. I know her. Oh. Tomb Immortal King was slightly taken aback. What was going on? Tomb Immortal King knew her. Wouldn't it be dark under the light? She's the Butterfly Queen from the Great Accomplishment Realm, Tomb Immortal King said strangely. Butterfly Queen? Chao's daughter? Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. However, in the next moment, the Butterfly Queen changed into Meow's appearance. Tomb Immortal King said in surprise. Master, how is this possible? Another one has appeared. Isn't this Yang Chuan's Meow? Is the 3 live stone broken? Tomb Immortal King said in surprise. No, it's not broken. I remember now. Tomb Immortal King said with a smile. What? Xuan Miao is the goddess of luck, and the Butterfly Queen is the goddess of misfortune. They're both luck. Luck path. The reincarnation of a great Tao paragon is split into 2. Both of them are great Tao paragons. So they're great Tao paragons. Tomb Immortal King said confidently. 2 great Tao paragons? Tomb Immortal King said in confusion. The image on the 3 live stone suddenly flashed and disappeared. That's right. How can the power of a great Tao paragon be replenished by 1 reincarnation? The great Tao paragon has split himself into 2 sides and reincarnated separately. Good. So he's been right under my nose all this time. Yang Chuan? What great luck. The great Tao paragon closest to his destiny is actually by his side. No wonder Yang Chuan's luck has always been so great. This is luck. Yang Chuan was born. I was wondering how he could have such great luck. It turns out that luck is by his side. Ha. Tomb Immortal King laughed loudly. Master, the Butterfly Queen and Meow are both people that Yang Chuan values very much. Isn't this a bit inappropriate? Tomb Immortal King said worriedly. After all, Yang Chuan's strength was clear to the skeleton in the tomb. Chen Ph, what's inappropriate? It's fine if I didn't know. Now that I know, this great Tao paragon will naturally help me. Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Master, no need to say more. Guard the house and don't let any rascals enter. I'll go and capture the great Tao paragon's reincarnation, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Yes. Everyone replied. The great Tao paragon quickly calculated with his fingers. Oh, they're all in the great Qin city. Yang Chuan left with the queen, the crown prince, and the other officials. Those two are still in the great Qin city. That's good. It saves me a lot of trouble, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Boom. Tomb Immortal King took a step and shot into the distance. Underworld, Great Qin City. In a large hall. The Butterfly Queen and Meow sat quietly in the hall. Meow, little butterfly, hurry up. Meow called out. I've tried my best. The Butterfly Queen was speechless. The last time Father gave us the inheritance, it was Father's understanding of heaven and earth. Father is the most powerful. Even the Nether River Patriarch didn't fully grasp the 3,000 heavenly Taos, but Father has grasped the general framework of the 3,000 heavenly Taos. Let's quickly deduce it and give it to Yang Chuan, Meow said happily. The Butterfly Queen rolled her eyes and said, Father left it for us to protect ourselves. So what? Isn't it the same to give it to Yang Chuan? Who can touch us here? Meow immediately cried out. But Father left a message that we can't reveal it to outsiders. He said that people will harm us in the future, so we have to keep it for self-protection. The Butterfly Queen said. I believe in Yang Chuan. Don't you know? Yang Chuan has gone to the Yang realm to fight with Zhongshan. I heard from Yang Chuan that he might break through after that battle. When that time comes, what are you worried about? Yang Chuan is at the 18th heaven. Other than fate, who is there to be afraid of? Meow said with a look of disdain. Break through to the 18th heaven? Sigh, I said that I would go and take a look. The Butterfly Queen complained. All right, we'll take our time in the future. You and I are both at the 14th heaven. Can you understand it? Our deduction is about to end. When the time comes, we'll give Yang Chuan a surprise. When he breaks through to the 18th heaven, we'll give him a gift. How about that? I'm so smart, Meow. Meow said proudly. All right, but don't you have a contract with him? You can sense Yang Chuan. Can you sense how he's doing? The Butterfly Queen asked. It's already started, so how could I disturb him now? Wouldn't that affect his advancement? I've already cut off my connection with him, Meow said as she shook her head. All right, the Butterfly Queen said helplessly. Just as the Butterfly Queen and Meow were continuing to comprehend the legacy that Nest had left for them, a ferocious might suddenly pressed down on the great Qin city. Roar. The Golden Dragon of Fate, the Golden Dragon of Luck, the Golden Dragon of Virtue, and the Golden Dragon of Luck all roared at the same time. The entire great Qin city instantly fell into chaos. Countless soldiers rushed into the sky. How dare you? Who dares to act so impudently in Great Shen? How dare you? Amidst a series of Jiaohu sounds, the great Qin city's formations were fully activated to resist the sudden pressure from the sky. Boom! A massive explosion sounded out as the great Qin city's formations exploded. Some of the soldiers who had rushed into the sky were sent flying back towards the palace where Meow and the Butterfly Queen were. Boom! The main hall was smashed into smithereens. Meow, which bastard dares to disturb me? Meow furiously roared. After the palace was blasted apart, Meow and the Butterfly Queen were instantly exposed. The two sisters looked towards the south of the great Qin city furiously. In the air to the south of the great Qin city, there was a figure standing there. It was half human and half skeleton. Grave Celestial King? Someone recognized him and said in shock. Chapter 1579. Tomb Immortal King. In the great Qin city, the expressions of countless soldiers changed. Great Shen had long become the hegemon of the world. Even if the great emperor left with his ministers, There shouldn't be anyone who was blind enough to cause trouble. Who would have thought that someone would really dare to cause trouble at this moment? Tomb Immortal King might not be the overlord, but almost everyone knew that the great benevolence world listened to him. Moreover, not long ago, he had valiantly controlled a great power supremacy. No one dared to underestimate him. Meow, Tomb Immortal King, what are you doing in Great Qin? Do you want to die? Meow immediately cried out. Great Dao supremacy? Heh, how laughable. The person closest to destiny in the first epoch turned into a cat and a butterfly. How laughable. Tomb Immortal King laughed. Meow, what did you say? Meow said in surprise. Butterfly Queen's expression also sank. I feel that bad luck is coming. Sister, he's here to cause trouble for us sisters. Heh. Meow's eyes widened. When they looked carefully, they saw that Tomb Immortal King was indeed staring at them. Tomb Immortal King, you want to capture us? Meow said coldly. That's right. I've come today to invite the two of you to my undying territory for a chat. Do you want to come with me, or do you want me to invite you? Tomb Immortal King sneered. Before Meow and Butterfly Queen could speak, the expression of an official not far away suddenly changed. Not good. Quick, inform the great emperor. An official cried out. All the officials knew how powerful Tomb Immortal King was. Now that Great Qin was empty, he wanted to capture Meow. Meow was the great emperor's favorite. If she was captured, what would happen? Yes. One of the attendants beside him immediately replied. Stop. No one is allowed to contact Yang Chuan. Meow immediately roared. Huh. The group of officials was slightly stunned. Meow quickly took out a command medallion. The great emperor's heavenly decree? The surrounding officials exclaimed. The great emperor's heavenly command was equivalent to the emperor's presence. It was the highest command token in the great celestial realm. Meow, watch carefully. This is Yang Chuan's heavenly order. Now that Yang Chuan is not here, I will issue an order. Yang Chuan and his team are to go to the old site of the Bo clan. If there is no news from the old site of the Bo clan, no one is to disturb Yang Chuan. Meow shouted. Ah! But Tomb Immortal King wants to deal with you. An official exclaimed. Meow looked at him coldly. Yang Chuan is doing something big. Everything else should be put behind him. Whoever dares to disobey will be punished for treason. The official was stunned, but in the end, he could only feel helpless. After Meow gave the order, she looked at Tomb Immortal King. Tomb Immortal King also looked at Meow strangely. You really don't want to live anymore? And he's stopping everyone from informing Yang Chuan? Tomb Immortal King asked curiously. Big sister? Butterfly Queen looked at Meow worriedly. Little Butterfly, Big sister has let you down this time. If you have any difficulties, Big sister will accompany you. Meow stood in front of Butterfly Queen. Big sister, I didn't. Butterfly Queen smiled bitterly. Tomb Immortal King laughed coldly and said, All right, come with me. Tomb Immortal King, you trespassed in the Great Qin city today and even tried to capture me and Butterfly Queen. Aren't you afraid that Yang Chuan will come and destroy your Tomb Immortal clan? Meow roared. Yang Chuan? Ha ha ha, what a joke. You think I'm afraid of a loser? Stop talking nonsense and come with me, Tomb Immortal King said coldly. Loser. Remember what you said today, Meow said coldly. Chimph, shut up. Come with me. Tomb Immortal King was impatient and reached out to grab the Great Qin city. Archers, fire. One of the generals shouted. Boom. 100,000 arrows shot out towards the Tomb Immortal King. Kill. Protect Butterfly Queen and Meow. Instantly, loud shouts could be heard. In the Great Qin city, a large number of experts soared into the sky and charged towards Tomb Immortal King. Although they knew that Tomb Immortal King was powerful, no one retreated. Rays of sword light and saber light shot towards Tomb Immortal King. The arrows were like a meteor shower, rushing towards Tomb Immortal King. Tomb Immortal King snorted coldly. His body shook slightly, and instantly, all the sword light, saber light, and arrow rain shattered. A powerful force surged out and shook the entire Great Qin city. Treasure, stop! The Sho Di shouted. Boom! Rolling golden light surged towards Tomb Immortal King. However, Tomb Immortal King was too powerful. HMPH, small tricks. Break. Tomb Immortal King flicked his right palm. Boom! The golden light shattered, and even Sho Di's body stopped abruptly. The huge impact hit the entire Great Qin city. Countless commoners revealed looks of panic. Time God Art, slow. Dongfang Zhengpai shouted. Rumble. The shockwaves were slowly blocked, but the Great Qin city still trembled. Xiao Dai, let's go. Miao called out. Swish. The Butterfly Queen and Miao quickly flew towards the west of the city. Sister, what should we do now? Where should we go? The Butterfly Queen asked anxiously. Don't implicate the entire city because of our sins. Let's leave the city. Miao shouted. Rumble. Outside the Great Qin city, there was another explosion. Although the soldiers of Great Qin tried their best to defend, Tomb Immortal King was too powerful and heavily injured everyone. Haha, you still want to escape? Tomb Immortal King laughed. Boom. Tomb Immortal King instantly flew in front of Miao and grabbed at her. Miao. Miao cried out in shock. Boom. A huge force instantly sent Miao flying. It was the Butterfly Queen. Seeing that Miao was in danger, she quickly pushed Miao away. Xiao Dai. Miao cried out in shock. Sister, our calamity is too great. I can't escape, but you can. Use the contract with Yang Chuan and quickly teleport over. Teleport to Yang Chuan's side, and you'll be safe, the Butterfly Queen shouted. Boom. A palm hit the Butterfly Queen. Fart. The Butterfly Queen spat out a mouthful of blood. Then, she was instantly caught by Tomb Immortal King. Ha ha ha, you still want to escape? Tomb Immortal King laughed. Xiao Dai. Miao cried out in shock. Run. The Butterfly Queen shouted in her heavy injuries. Run. Where do you think you're going? Tomb Immortal King grabbed at Miao again. Miao. Miao roared and grabbed at Tomb Immortal King. Boom. The void trembled, and Miao was instantly sent flying. In the blink of an eye, Miao was caught by Tomb Immortal King. Sister, why aren't you leaving? You can leave, the Butterfly Queen cried out. Miao, Yang Chuan can't be disturbed. I don't want to disturb him at this time. Xiao Dai, isn't it good to have me by your side? Miao said with a sad smile. Sister. The Butterfly Queen also cried sadly. It's okay, Yang Chuan will avenge me. He definitely will. Miao, who was restrained, looked at Tomb Immortal King with hatred. Noisy. Tomb Immortal King snorted and slapped the two. Buzz. Miao and the Butterfly Queen were both knocked unconscious. Ha ha ha. Laughing, Tomb Immortal King grabbed the Butterfly Queen and Miao. He headed west. Chapter 1580. Inner North Continent, Undying Palace. After looking at the 108 diagrams, Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan seemed to have grasped something, and he closed his eyes and started to comprehend it. Even though Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan had pure rationality, sometimes, it wasn't the best. After all, many times, the increase in cultivation was related to emotions. Emotions were a mysterious thing that could make people strong or weak, but Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan didn't have such a thing. Even though his cultivation increased very quickly at the beginning, so much so that he surpassed both Yang Chuan and Zombie Yang Chuan in a short period of time, Zombie Yang Chuan was already at the 18th heaven, and Zombie Yang Chuan had gone to play chess with Zhong Shan, so he wasn't far from the 18th heaven. However, Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan was only at the 16th heaven in terms of cultivation. The further he went, the more difficult it became. Because Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan had sacrificed his emotions, he seemed to have a natural flaw. Sitting cross-legged in the palace and comprehending the 108 diagrams, Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan seemed to have comprehended something. Suddenly, Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan opened his eyes, and a bright light flashed in his eyes. Because of Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan's powerful analytical abilities, some of the formations in the Great Qin City and Xianyang City had been modified by Silver-Eyed Yang Chuan, and these formations were connected to the heavenly Tao. However, in that instant, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan felt that the formations he had set up had been shattered. Who? Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's expression darkened, and he stepped out of the Undying Palace. Yang Di, the Undying sect's disciples asked curiously. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan ignored them and turned to look in the direction of the great Qin city. Looking over, he saw that the Tomb Immortal King had destroyed the great Qin city's formations against Miao and Butterfly Queen. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's eyes narrowed. Just as Silver-eyed Yang Chuan was about to head towards the great Qin city, she suddenly stopped. As if seeing through Tomb Immortal King's intentions, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan turned around and flew toward the western outer continent. Silver Pupil Yang Chuan's speed naturally couldn't compare to Tomb Immortal King. Therefore, it was impossible for them to stop the Tomb Immortal King. Thus, they could only wait in the western outer continent. Swish! Silver-eyed Yang Chuan flew west. In the great Qin city, Tomb Immortal King also caught Miao and Butterfly Queen. Ha ha ha. Laughing heartily, Tomb Immortal King grabbed the unconscious Miao and Butterfly Queen and headed west. The Tomb Immortal Emperor was incredibly fast. He soon arrived at the western outer continent. He stepped onto the Yellow Springs Road and quickly entered the Great Kindness World's Young Realm. The moment they left the world of the living, boom! A dazzling golden light shot out. Grave Immortal King's expression changed. He could only hurriedly counter with a palm strike. Boom! The golden light was extremely powerful. Under the super heavy blow, the void shattered for hundreds of thousands of miles. Even Tomb Immortal King was forced to retreat 100 feet. How dare you! Tomb Immortal King shouted angrily. Not far away, there were 6,000 heavenly Daos circling around. Above the heavenly Daos was an enormous golden eye. Below it stood Silver-eyed Yang Chuan. It was Silver-eyed Yang Chuan who was guarding this place, ready to deal a fatal blow to Tomb Immortal King. However, the heavenly eye above the heavenly Dao couldn't do anything to Tomb Immortal King even if it used all its strength. Tomb Immortal King, you've crossed the line, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan said coldly. It's you, Yang Chuan? Haha, you want to stop me too? In the past, the power of an entire country couldn't stop me. Now, in my great kindness world, you want to stop me? Tomb Immortal King sneered. Hand over Miao and Butterfly Queen. My main body cares about them very much. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan said coldly. Here, if you have the ability, then come and get it. Tomb Immortal King sneered. Boom! 6,000 heavenly Dao instantly enveloped Tomb Immortal King. The heavenly Dao cycles from the Great Thousand World and the Great Evil World quickly rushed towards Tomb Immortal King. Rumble! The rolling power of the turbulent flow rushed straight over. The power of the turbulent flow was strong and could deal with others, but Tomb Immortal King was an 18th heaven expert. Ha ha ha, how dare you be presumptuous in front of me? Yang Chuan, you've found the wrong opponent. Tomb Immortal King sneered. With a wave of his hand, a monstrous giant palm was formed. Boom! The 6,000 heavenly Dao were crushed by the monstrous giant palm. The giant palm swept through everything, and Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's method suddenly failed. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's face darkened. It's useless, break. Tomb Immortal King's palm hit Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's body. Bang! Fart! Silver-eyed Yang Chuan was immediately injured and spat out a mouthful of blood. Tomb Immortal King was too strong, an 18th heaven expert. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan couldn't resist at all. In an instant, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan's bones were shattered and he fell to the ground in the distance. Tomb Immortal King stood in the sky and looked down coldly at Silver-eyed Yang Chuan. At this moment, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan no longer had the strength to fight back. The gap was too big. Lifeless soul? H, you're still far from it. This time, I won't kill you. Go and report to your main body. If you dare to come again, don't blame me for being impolite. Tomb Immortal King said coldly. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan looked coldly at Tomb Immortal King, who fell to the ground, his eyes cold. With a cold snort, Tomb Immortal King waved his sleeve and flew toward the immortal domain. With difficulty, Silver-eyed Yang Chuan got up. Leaning against a big tree, he watched Tomb Immortal King leave. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan took a deep breath. Main body, I've already done my best to stop him. I know you care about Miao, but I still lost despite my determination to fight to the death. At this moment, you're at the final juncture of your breakthrough. With pure reason, I can't inform you, in case it interferes with your breakthrough. I have no emotions, so there's no point in blaming me. Your strength is the most important. I only hope you can break through as soon as possible. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan took a deep breath. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan sat cross-legged under the big tree, adjusting his breathing and recuperating. Tomb Clan, Immortal Domain. Patriarch, you're back? Tomb Phosphorescence Bone was pleasantly surprised. Not far away, Tomb Immortal King landed in front of the Immortal King Palace with the unconscious Miao and Butterfly Queen. Phosphorescence Bone, prepare all the materials for the altar. I'm going to awaken the great Tao Sovereign, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Yes. Tomb Phosphorescence Bone shouted. At his command, the entire Tomb Clan was mobilized. With the foundation of several eras, it was easy to find some materials. Patriarch, is the awakening of a great Tao Paragon similar to that of a great Force Paragon? Tomb Phosphorescence Bone asked Tomb Immortal King. Of course not. Great Tao Paragons are the ones closest to fate. They naturally have their own uniqueness. Even if I want to refine them, it's several times more difficult than a great Force Paragon, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. But Miao and Butterfly Queen are only at 14th heaven? What do you know? I care about their fate, not their cultivation. Even at 14th heaven, a great Tao Paragon is more difficult to refine, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Yes. I'm going to open up a new space. I'll give you 10 days. Bring me everything on the altar, Tomb Immortal King ordered. Yes. Tomb Immortal King stepped into the Immortal King Palace. He placed Miao and Butterfly Queen in the main hall, reached out his 19-colored right hand, and pointed at the void. Wang. A 19-colored dot of light suddenly appeared in the void. The light expanded as Tomb Immortal King quickly filled it with power. Rumble. After 10 days, Tomb Immortal King's right hand loosened. Master, the materials are ready, Tomb Immortal King said respectfully. Millimeter, let's go. Follow me into the small space. Tomb Immortal King led Miao and Butterfly Queen into the small space. Whoosh. Tomb Immortal King also stepped in. In an instant, they entered a special space. 3,000 heavenly Tao revolved around the space. It was a vast grassland. Quick, Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. Yes. Under Tomb Immortal King's control, countless heavenly treasures were quickly spread out in all directions. A huge altar was slowly built. Half of the ground was covered in withered bones, while the other half was covered in lush greenery. The huge altar shone with bursts of yellow light. Master, the altar is ready, Tomb Immortal King said respectfully. Millimeter, Tomb Immortal King nodded. He placed Miao and Butterfly Queen on the altar. The two women were still unconscious at this moment. In the cycle of reincarnation, life and death are separated. Once the tomb is formed, both life and death will be buried. Tomb Immortal King shouted. Boom. Billowing power rushed toward the two women. Wang. The two women trembled violently. Their faces were contorted in pain. The Tomb Immortal King was rapidly refining the two women. However, the two women were too strong in their first lives. They were great Tao Paragons, the ones closest to destiny. How could they be refined so easily? Tomb Immortal King quickly refined them. Tomb Immortal King waited quietly at the side. The two women gradually woke up from the pain. Meow. Meow cried out in pain. Sister. Butterfly Queen cried out miserably. Sister, I'm sorry. Meow cried out. No, I'm fine. Sister, hurry up and leave. You can go to Yang Chuan through the contract. No one can stop you. Hurry up and leave. Butterfly Queen cried. No, I won't leave. Meow cried out in pain. Leave. None of you can leave. Ha 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 ha. Tomb Immortal King laughed. Rumble. Billowing power rushed into the two women's minds. The two women were in so much pain that they felt like they were being cut into pieces. Ah! The two women cried out in pain. This refinement took another 21 days. Boom! After 21 days, the two women suddenly trembled and their eyes became hollow. Finally refined. Tomb Immortal King took a deep breath. Master, it's done? Tomb Immortal King asked in surprise. Let's go. Tomb Immortal King said. Yes. The two quickly flew out of the small space. The tomb skeleton stood off to the side, while the Tomb Immortal King looked at the 19-colored dot in front of him. Within the dot was the refined Meow Meow. That's enough. Head Immortal King, summon the world's fate. Summon your first life's original body. The world's fate will be under your command. Head Immortal King shouted. Boom. The small dot of light instantly bloomed with dazzling light. At the same time, the entire Great Benevolence world instantly shot into the sky and gathered toward the Immortal King Palace. Rumble. The four worlds shook almost at the same time. Surging fate quickly gathered toward the Great Benevolence world. Endless fate gathered from all over the world, whether it was Great Shen, Great Ju, or the upper-class world. The surging luck Dao seemed to have found its true master. It rolled over, and no one could stop it. Wu Jiong and Lotus Deity looked at the sky in confusion. Just a moment ago, the human and zombie Yang Chuan were talking to Zhong Shan. Suddenly, the expressions of the two Yang Chuan changed drastically. What's wrong? Zhong Shan asked in surprise. The human Yang Chuan's face suddenly turned ferocious. Bastard, Tomb Immortal King, you're courting death. With a loud shout, the two Yang Chuan soared into the sky and rushed toward the Yellow Springs Road in Xianyang. Chapter 1581. Under Zhongshan's command, the 6 continents of the Great Thousand World merged with the Great Celestial Realm. The zombie Yang Chuan and human Yang Chuan were originally in a good mood. After all, the human Yang Chuan had reached the 18th heavenly layer, and the zombie Yang Chuan was also at the 18th heavenly layer. Others did not know, but Yang Chuan had a wild ambition deep in his heart. The human body and the zombie body shared the same fate, which was divided into the life fate and the death fate. However, in the end, they were still one. Now, could the two become one again? If the human body and the zombie body merged, could they use this to break through to the 19th heavenly layer? Yes, the purest 19th heavenly layer, the height of fate. Yang Chuan looked at the merging of the 6 continents and let out a long breath. His eyes shone brightly. If he could reach the height of fate, how could fate continue to live on him? Suddenly, a message from the silver-eyed Yang Chuan sounded in his mind. Is everything over? Come to me when it's over. The silver-eyed Yang Chuan's voice sounded in his mind. During this period of time, the silver-eyed Yang Chuan had purposely cut off contact with the human Yang Chuan. However, the human Yang Chuan was the main one, and the silver-eyed Yang Chuan was the secondary one. It was easy for the human Yang Chuan to check on the silver-eyed Yang Chuan's situation, and even the silver-eyed Yang Chuan could not stop it. However, this period of time was a critical time for a breakthrough, and the human Yang Chuan thought that the silver-eyed Yang Chuan did not want to disturb him. However, the connection that the silver-eyed Yang Chuan had just established was weak. Weak. The human Yang Chuan's expression suddenly changed. In an instant, the human Yang Chuan took over the silver-eyed Yang Chuan and understood the general situation. The Tomb Immortal King had destroyed the Great Qin city and captured Miao and the Butterfly Queen. The silver-eyed Yang Chuan had tried to stop him, but he was also on the verge of death. Miao! Yang Chuan suddenly became angry. In Yang Chuan's heart, Miao was already his family. But now, she was actually heavily injured and captured by the Tomb Immortal King. From the looks of it, it was obvious that he was going to refine it. The human Yang Chuan's face suddenly turned ferocious. Bastard, Tomb Immortal King, you're courting death. With a loud shout, the two Yang Chuan soared into the sky, heading straight for the Yellow Springs Road in Xianyang. A monstrous rage brewed within the two Yang Chuans, and both of their faces turned ferocious. Those who were watching Yang Chuan all revealed looks of curiosity. Whether it was Zhong Shan or Dongfang Bubai. Master, what's wrong with Yang Chuan? Lotus deity asked in surprise. Invincible East's expression changed slightly, and his fingers moved slightly. He then took a deep breath and said, "Something has happened in the Great Qin City." Oh! Boom! When Yang Chuan entered the Yellow Springs Road, there was a loud explosion in the sky. Surging Fate Dao squeezed out from all directions and flowed rapidly. Wu Jiong looked at the sea of clouds above his head seriously. Roar! The Fate Dao Golden Dragon roared and carried Great Ju's Fate Dao, wanting to leave Great Ju. "Great Emperor, this is bad," Shangguan Wan said anxiously. However, Wu Jiong took a deep breath. This time, he did not stop the Fate Dao from flowing away. "The Great Dao Sovereign is coming out," Wu Jiong said in a low voice. The two Yang Chuans of the 18th heaven entered the netherworld and lowered their heads to look at the Great Qin City. "Great Emperor!" The officials and commoners cried out excitedly. The Great Qin City was in ruins, and countless commoners, officials, and soldiers were injured. "Inform all the alchemists in Xianyang to treat the injured in the Great Qin City." "Wait for my return," Yang Chuan said in a low voice. "Yes." Countless officials cried out. With Yang Chuan's return, everyone's worries were naturally dispelled. Boom! The two Yang Chuans headed towards the western outer continent. They were incredibly fast, and they soon arrived at the western outer continent. The peerless experts of the Great Kindness World lived in the western outer continent. A month ago, Mu Immortal King had wreaked havoc in the Great Qin City, and the peerless experts of the Great Kindness World had long since heard about it. During this month, they had been watching the Great Qin City. Seeing Yang Chuan in the Great Qin City, everyone's hearts trembled. "Everyone, Yang Chuan is about to come. I've already sent people to inform the Mu clan. How about we stand guard for the Mu clan for a while?" a peerless expert said. "All right, we're all at the 16th heaven. No matter how strong Yang Chuan is, we should be able to hold him off for a while," another peerless expert said. "All right." Everyone stood guard at the Yellow Springs crossing in the Great Kindness World. They stared at Yang Chuan in the distance. They had thought that they would have to wait for a while, but the distant Yang Chuan was simply too fast, to the point that it was shocking. In just a short while. Boom! Yang Chuan was right in front of them. Everyone's hearts trembled. So fast. "Yang Chuan, this is the Great Kindness World. You shouldn't be here," a peerless expert shouted as he blocked in front of Yang Chuan. Zombie Yang Chuan stretched out his hand and slapped out. The super giant palm carried boundless might. Under the super giant palm, the peerless expert was instantly unable to move. It was as if the surrounding space had been locked down. Boom! That peerless expert was instantly smashed into meat paste by zombie Yang Chuan. The shockwaves were massive, and the surrounding peerless experts were sent flying, coughing up blood. The two Yang Chuan did not waste any more time and stepped onto the Yellow Springs Road, heading towards the Great Kindness World's Yang realm. The surrounding peerless experts who were sent flying looked at the meat paste not far away and felt a chill in their hearts. A bone-piercing coldness froze their backs. Since when had Yang Chuan become so ferocious? Could this still be described as ferocious? It was laughable that they had wanted to stop Yang Chuan. With a shudder, the group of peerless experts supported each other and flew into the distance. Is this Yang Chuan? How can he be so terrifying? Should we inform Master Mu? I think we should forget about it. Yang Chuan's anger has already burned the 9 heavens. That palm strike just now could not be so easily executed even by a 17th heaven expert. No, it is impossible for a 17th heaven expert to be so powerful. The old pangolin is a 16th heaven expert, and the pangolin's body is extremely strong. However, it was still not a match for Yang Chuan's palm strike. 18th heaven? Instantly, everyone was shocked. 18th heaven? Yang Chuan was an 18th heaven expert? If something happened to the Butterfly Queen and Meow, Yang Chuan would definitely have an earth-shattering battle with the Tomb Immortal King. Tomb Immortal King would definitely not be able to kill Yang Chuan at 18th heaven. In this case, if Yang Chuan won, would he come back to find trouble with them? Even if Yang Chuan lost, would he vent his anger on them? The group of peerless experts smiled bitterly and finally shook their heads. They did not want to get involved in this mess anymore. At the same time, they felt a sense of sadness. The Great Benevolence World had made a huge leap in the past million years. They originally thought that the Great Benevolence World would be the leader of the four worlds, but now they sadly found out that there were peerless experts born in each of the four worlds. Apart from the Tomb Immortal King, the Great Benevolence World only had a group of 16th Heaven experts. The two Yang Chuan rushed across the Yellow Springs Road in an instant. At the Yellow Springs Road intersection, the silver-eyed Yang Chuan was waiting for the two with injuries. The two Yang Chuan's eyes flashed with anger. They blamed the silver-eyed Yang Chuan for not informing the main body earlier. But the silver-eyed Yang Chuan's eyes were clear. Standing on the most rational side, the silver-eyed Yang Chuan wanted to ensure that the main body did not lose this precious opportunity. "Don't worry about me. Go find the Tomb Immortal King." The silver-eyed Yang Chuan shook his head. The two Yang Chuan looked at each other and did not want to delay. They stepped towards the Undying Domain. Boom! In just a short while, the two arrived above the Undying Domain with two gusts of wind. In the Undying Domain, surging luck gathered. In the Immortal King Palace, the Tomb Immortal King sat on his throne and looked at the 19-colored ball in front of him. Countless luck gathered into it. The Tomb Immortal King's eyes flashed with satisfaction. Beside him, the Tomb Immortal King's expression changed and stepped out of the palace. "Elder, the Great Benevolence World sent news. Yang Chuan is here," a Tomb Immortal disciple shouted. "Yang Chuan?" "Yes, the zombie Yang Chuan and the human Yang Chuan have both returned to the Great Qin City. They seem to be coming to our Great Benevolence World," the Tomb Immortal disciple said. "Understood. You may leave." After the Tomb Immortal King gave the order, he immediately entered the palace and said, "Family head, the two Yang Chuan are coming. Let them come. The situation is already set. It's useless even if they come," the Tomb Immortal King said in a low voice. "Yes," the Tomb Immortal King said proudly. The two watched the luck gather. But not long after. Boom! Two gusts of wind rushed towards the Undying Domain. Wherever the gusts of wind passed, the withered bone region would be filled with bones, and the life region would be intimidated. Red light shot into the sky. The Yang Chuan's fury was so condensed that it seemed to burn the sky. "Immortal King Palace?" The human Yang Chuan's eyes flashed with a cold light. He stretched out his right hand and waved it. Boom! A huge astral palm rushed over. Wherever the astral palm passed, the void shattered. The Tomb Immortal disciples howled in pain. At this moment, a huge 19-colored palm suddenly appeared in the Immortal King Palace. Boom! The two palms collided, causing more and more destruction. More and more places were blown to pieces. 18th Heaven? The Tomb Immortal King exclaimed in surprise from the Immortal King Palace. The Yang Chuan waved his hand, and the ruins scattered, revealing the Immortal King Palace in the distance. The Tomb Immortal King walked out of the palace. A trace of surprise flashed in his eyes as he stared at the two Yang Chuan in the air. "Tomb Immortal King, where are Miao and the Butterfly Queen?" the zombie Yang Chuan asked coldly. The Tomb Immortal King was not afraid. He laughed loudly and said, "Ha ha ha ha, the luck of the four realms has gathered. Don't you understand?" The human Yang Chuan's eyes were cold. "They have already been refined by me. Like the great force supremes of the past, they will soon be under my control." The Tomb Immortal King laughed loudly. "You're courting death." The human Yang Chuan shouted and struck out at the Tomb Immortal King. Whoosh! The Tomb Immortal King stepped forward and instantly rushed into the clouds. "If you want to fight, go to Wuji. With our destructive power, this world can't withstand it." The Tomb Immortal King laughed loudly. The Tomb Immortal King rushed into the clouds. Boom! The human Yang Chuan shattered the Immortal King Palace with a palm strike. But at this moment, there was nothing in the Immortal King Palace. Only endless luck gathered and then disappeared into thin air. The Tomb Immortal King had powerful methods. The two Yang Chuan could not find Miao and the Butterfly Queen for a while. The Yang Chuan's face turned cold, revealing a ferocious expression as he looked at the tomb immortal king flying towards Wuji. The Tu Yang Chuan snorted coldly. With a burning battle intent, the Tu Yang Chuan chased after the tomb immortal king and quickly killed him. It had been a long time since he was so angry. Miao was like Yang Chuan's reverse scale. No one could touch it. Whoever dared to touch it would have to pay the most painful price. No matter who it was. Even the tomb immortal king had to pay the most painful price. Chapter 1582. Boom. The Tu Yang Chuan rushed out of the boundary of the heaven and earth and entered Wuji. You really dare to come? Tomb immortal king sneered. Yang Chuan was burning with rage right now. Naturally, he did not waste any more words. What Yang Chuan needed right now was to take down the tomb immortal king so that she could release Miao. Who? Yang Chuan instantly appeared in front of tomb immortal king and punched out. In Wuji, he could go all out. The tomb immortal king's right palm slammed forward. Boom. Their fists and palms collided. The two of them stopped abruptly and were in a deadlock. The tomb immortal king revealed a hint of smugness. Suddenly, a fist appeared at the back of his head. It was zombie Yang Chuan who had made his move. A force even more ferocious than Yang Chuan's human body, a super huge attack came. Grave immortal king's expression changed. Who? His body jerked to the side, but zombie Yang Chuan's fist still landed on his back. Zombie Yang Chuan's strength was extremely strong. Even though tomb immortal king only had half of his body, he still couldn't withstand the attack and was sent flying. Boom. The three of them separated abruptly, but tomb immortal king's expression changed. You are also at the 18th level? Tomb immortal king exclaimed. In that case, would it be equivalent to facing 218 heavens? Great Tao of the Nether River, surging Black Sea, zombie Yang Chuan shouted. Boom. Suddenly, a vast black river appeared around them. The black river was so huge that it submerged the three of them in the blink of an eye. Boom. The three of them once again fiercely collided. After inheriting the Nether River Patriarch's legacy, zombie Yang Chuan became even more ferocious. At this moment, the Tu Yang Chuan no longer cared about fairness. At this moment, they just wanted to beat the tomb immortal king to the ground. Rumble. A huge battle ensued, and the Black Sea surged. At the mouth of heaven and earth. The original peerless experts also came out to watch. Zhong Shan, Dongfang Bubai, Lotus God, Wu Jiong, Shoddy Ai, and the heroes of the Great Kindness world were all watching. There were fewer and fewer peerless experts in the world, but they were getting stronger and stronger. At this moment, the battle between Yang Chuan and the tomb immortal king was even more of a manifestation of extreme strength. In the heavenly demon world, Meng Rongrong looked worriedly at Limitless, while Snake Spirit led the Snake Clan to observe. Fushi, on the other hand, sat on the huge throne and did not go forward to observe. Instead, a natural 8 trigrams diagram appeared in his palm and he carefully examined it. Head Dao Warrior. The person whose realm is closest to fate. Fushi pondered for a moment and said. After pondering for a while, Fushi slowly raised his head, and a bright light flashed in his eyes. It's time. Fushi's eyes flashed with determination. Snake Spirit, come here. Fushi called out. Snake Spirit was currently leading the Snake Clan to watch the great battle in Wuji when she suddenly heard Fushi's voice. When he turned his head to look, he realized that the other members of the Snake Clan had not heard him. Filled with curiosity, the Snake Spirit flew into a valley in the heavenly demon world. King, you're looking for me? Snake Spirit asked curiously. Spirit, how's the matter that I've arranged for you? Fushi asked in a deep voice. I've supplemented the 64 exchange beasts in the past according to King's request. It's already perfect. The number of Dian is complete, Snake Spirit said solemnly. With that, Snake Spirit glared. King, could it be that you're preparing to begin? The time has come, it won't come again. Snake Spirit, this matter concerns the lives of the world, are you willing to make a sacrifice for it? Fushi's eyes flashed with seriousness. Yes. Snake Spirit's expression turned solemn. Go and inform Meng Rongrong. Her fate matches this number as well. Tell her the whole story, Fuxi said solemnly. Yes. Snake Spirit replied. In the world. The surging luck continued to rumble. The heroes of the world unanimously did not go forward to stop it. The surging luck quickly gathered in the undying domain and then disappeared into thin air. Rumble. After a few days, all the luck in the world disappeared. In Wuji. Boom. Boom. The two Yang Chuan were fighting extremely crazily at this moment. One of them might be slightly inferior to the Tomb Immortal King. After all, Yang Chuan had just reached the 18th heaven. However, the two Yang Chuan could fiercely suppress the Tomb Immortal King. Yang Chuan became braver and stronger as he fought. Most importantly, the Tomb Immortal King had a weakness. Half of his body was a skeleton. This was the Tomb Immortal King's greatest weakness. If the right half of the Tomb Immortal King's body was at the 19th heaven, then the left half of the skeleton was at the 17th heaven, neutralizing it. It was the power of the 18th heaven. After Yang Chuan severely injured the skeleton twice, he knew that weakness. Yang Chuan did not care whether it was fair or not. The most important thing now was to save Miao. Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan's fist collided with the Tomb Immortal King's right fist. The energy wave formed a huge space, and the surging waves of power swept in all directions. The river Styx surged, and the surging dark power surged towards the Tomb Immortal King. Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan punched the left half of the Tomb Immortal King's body. Crack. Half of the skeleton instantly shattered. Bastard. The Tomb Immortal King roared. Crack, 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 crack. Soon, the shattered left half of his body regrew. However, this was extremely taxing on the right half of his body. Rumble. After several days of fighting, the Tomb Immortal King was increasingly frustrated by the two Yang Chuans suppressing him. Some of the right half of his body was also gradually turning into bones. Cultivating half of your body? Mph, if you don't hand over Miao, I'll beat you back to your original form. Zombie Yang Chuan roared. Boom. The two tangled in the river Styx. The Tomb Immortal King's undying Great Tao emerged, but it was firmly trapped by the river Styx's Great Tao. The Nether River Patriarch's Great Tao was naturally unparalleled. Roar. Zombie Yang Chuan's body merged with the Great Tao, turning into a black dragon and becoming increasingly ferocious. Boom. Crack. The two Yang Chuans were like one, cooperating with each other very well, and the battle was also very intense. The battle did not stop, and the Tomb Immortal King was repeatedly defeated. However, Yang Chuan's human body seemed to be gaining more insights the more he fought. Bastard. The Tomb Immortal King roared. Boom. The two Yang Chuans would not show mercy, and fought for another 10 days. 1/3 of the right half of the Tomb Immortal King's body had been beaten back to its original form. No matter how angry he was, there was nothing he could do at this moment. He was extremely anxious. Where's Miao? Zombie Yang Chuan punched the skeleton half of his body. Where's Miao? Zombie Yang Chuan punched his head. Rumble. From the beginning, he was able to resist, but now, it was a one-sided beating. Even the strong 19th heaven physical body region was swollen at this moment. You still won't speak. Forget it, since you won't speak, I will completely shatter you, then refine your soul and strip your memories, Zombie Yang Chuan said coldly. Strip. Tomb Immortal King's expression changed. Tomb Immortal King suddenly remembered that Yang Chuan still had such a divine ability. Strip memories? Suddenly, Tomb Immortal King revealed a look of anxiety. Kill. Zombie Yang Chuan shouted. I'll speak. Tomb Immortal King shouted. Boom. Tomb Immortal King was still sent flying. Yang Chuan, who was in human form, instantly appeared in front of him. You're finally willing to speak. Zombie Yang Chuan said coldly. He grabbed Tomb Immortal King and flew towards Great Benevolence World. Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan put away the Nether River Tao and also rushed down. Countless experts in Everlasting were left behind with a cold expression. These two Yang Chuans were too savage. Master, isn't Yang Chuan's growth a little too exaggerated? Lotus Deity smiled bitterly. invincible east side and turned to look in the direction of Great Benevolence World. The experts of Great Benevolence World were all dumbfounded. They wanted to stop Yang Chuan earlier. In this state, could they stop him? Was this not courting death? Great Benevolence World, undying territory. Many of the Tomb Clan disciples were heavily injured. As they supported each other, they arrived at the ruins of the Immortal King Palace. Elder, they are too heavily injured. A Tomb Clan disciple said bitterly. Mu Lin Jiu took a deep breath and said, Ignorant Yang Chuan, how dare you come to my Mu clan to cause trouble? With the Patriarch here, those two Yang Chuans won't be able to get away with anything. Just you wait, the Patriarch will avenge you. Yes, the Patriarch will definitely avenge us. The Tomb Clan disciples were full of confidence. At this moment, a black dot rushed down from the starry sky. It instantly arrived at undying territory. Boom! It was as if he had fallen, instantly creating a huge crater in the undying domain. Under the huge impact, undying territory was instantly torn apart. A sea of bones soared into the sky and the four seas swept over. Rumble! Under the huge impact, the volcanoes around erupted. The Tomb Clan disciples' faces changed. Instead, he saw two Yang Chuans standing in mid-air, looking down at the huge crater that was created. From the crater, Tomb Immortal King's figure slowly climbed out. Ma, Patriarch! Tomb Skeleton exclaimed in disbelief. How could this be? The Patriarch was forcefully smashed down. Yang Chuan? Yang Chuan smashed the Patriarch down? The Patriarch was defeated? No. The Tomb Clan disciples could not accept this unbelievable scene. How could this be? It should not be like this, the Patriarch should be invincible. Everyone was Jiaohu. Tomb Immortal King climbed out of the crater and looked at the two Yang Chuans with hatred. The two Yang Chuans' eyes were still cold. Quick, release Miao and Butterfly Queen, the human Yang Chuan said coldly. Tomb Immortal King climbed out of the crater, ignoring the erupting volcanoes around him, and took a few deep breaths. It's too late, Yang Chuan, Tomb Immortal King said coldly. The human Yang Chuan's voice was cold. PH, 218 levels, I'm not your match, but if it's just one of you, you're not my match. 218 levels? Haha, I also have an 18 level. Head Dao Sovereign has completely refined her, she listens to my orders. I'll make you pay for the battle just now, Tomb Immortal King said coldly. Tomb Immortal King waved his hand at the Immortal King Palace. There was a ruin there. In the ruin, there was a 19-colored light spot. With a light wave, the light spot quickly enlarged and formed a space entrance. Head Dao Sovereign, follow me to battle. Tomb Immortal King shouted coldly. Silence. There was no movement in the space. What? Head Dao Sovereign, come out and fight with me. Tomb Immortal King shouted again. Silence. There was still no movement in the space. What the hell? Tomb Immortal King, are you crazy? The human Yang Chuan said coldly. Tomb Immortal King also knew that something was wrong, but he quickly flew to the space entrance. Where is she? Where's Head Dao Sovereign? Tomb Immortal King exclaimed. Yang Chuan, who was high up in the sky, was getting impatient. Tomb Immortal King, are you playing with me? Yang Chuan said coldly. No, Head Dao Sovereign is gone. I placed them here, they're gone. How can they be gone? Tomb Immortal King exclaimed in disbelief. Chapter 1583. Are you messing with me, Tomb Immortal King? Yang Chuan said coldly. No, the Grand Dao Paragons are gone. I placed them here, and they're gone. How could they be gone? Tomb Immortal King exclaimed in disbelief. Boom. The Tomb Immortal King stretched out his hand and broke open the spatial gate. The scene inside the spatial gate was revealed to everyone. Dried bones were everywhere, and a huge altar was shining with 18 colors. But there was no sign of Miao or the Butterfly Queen on the altar. Still not being honest. Zombie Yang Chuan snorted coldly. He stepped forward and charged. A punch landed on Tomb Immortal King. Boom. The huge impact caused the undying domain to churn again. Ah! Countless disciples of the Tomb Clan cried out in pain. Tomb Immortal King blocked zombie Yang Chuan. Boom. Yang Chuan in human form suddenly appeared and sent Tomb Immortal King flying. Rumble. The three fought and charged into the stars again. Tomb Immortal King, since you're not being honest, then I'll beat you back to your original form. Zombie Yang Chuan roared. Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan and Zombie Yang Chuan both charged at Tomb Immortal King. I didn't. I put them over there. They're over there. Someone else stole them. Tomb Immortal King roared in grief. Last time, he plotted against a Grand Dao Paragon, but the Nether River Patriarch took advantage of him. This time, it was even worse. Not only did someone else take advantage of him for plotting against a Grand Dao Paragon, he even diverted all of Yang Chuan's anger onto himself. Ha, do you think I'll believe you? Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan in human form didn't believe Tomb Immortal King's words, and only thought that he was just being stubborn. Hence, he was even more merciless than before. Boom. Zombie Yang Chuan was also extremely vicious. Once again, it was a one-sided beating. Yang Chuan, you lunatic. Tomb Immortal King roared in grief. Lunatic. PH, why didn't you say that you were crazy when you caught Meow and Butterfly Queen? You want me to believe your words? Wait until I refine you first. Yang Chuan said furiously. Rumble. Graveyard Immortal King was filled with grief and indignation as the two of them started fighting again. It wasn't that Yang Chuan didn't believe him, but it was useless even if he did. Where was Meow? Right now, he needed to vent his anger. Since you, Tomb Immortal King, dared to offend me, you have to suffer the baptism of my anger. In Wuji, another great battle broke out. In the heavenly demon world, Fushi, the Noga clan, Snake Spirit, and Meng Rongrong arrived at a huge altar. On top of the altar, there was a golden ball of light. Outside the ball of light was a huge net formed by Fushi's 64 hexagrams, sealing the golden ball of light inside. Master, what is this? Meng Rongrong was puzzled. This is the fate of a great Dao Paragon, Fushi said calmly. Ah! Master captured Meow and Butterfly Queen, who Yang Chuan was looking for? Meng Rongrong said in surprise. That's right. At this moment, I'm going to take her cultivation base and carry out my grand plan. Meng Rongrong, Snake Spirit, I need your help. Fushi said solemnly. Ah! Meng Rongrong was at a loss. Yes. Snake Spirit answered excitedly. Roar. Fushi opened his mouth. Suddenly, a suction force swallowed the fate of a great Dao Paragon on the altar. The figures of Meow and Butterfly Queen could be vaguely seen in the fate. No. Meng Rongrong exclaimed. However, it was too late. Fushi had already swallowed it. Following that, Fushi sat on the altar. Fushi was in his giant form. When he sat on the altar, he looked like a mountain. But just now, Fushi had swallowed both Meow Meow and the Butterfly Queen. I've sealed the fate of a great Dao Paragon with the 64 hexagrams. However, it's about to be revealed. Destiny will soon discover it. Snake Spirit, Meng Rongrong, later, I'll unsheath my spirit divinity and envelop it with endless essence. My body will quickly wither and decay. This is extremely dangerous. I need your primordial souls to leave your bodies and reside in my body. Then, you'll continuously draw out endless heavenly demons to replenish my body's decay. Fushi said in a low voice. Ah! Heavenly demons. Meng Rongrong was slightly taken aback. That's right. Heavenly demons are already a great supplement to my body. This is also the reason why I've been teaching the Noga clan to use heavenly demons all these years. When the time comes, all the Noga clan's disciples will have to control heavenly demons to replenish my body, Fushi said in a low voice. Yes. All the Noga clan members answered. As long as my body is fine, I'll be fine, Fushi said in a low voice. Yes. Fushi looked at Meng Rongrong and Snake Spirit. Meng Rongrong, Snake Spirit, I hope that you can forget about your personal gains and losses and work hard for the sake of the common people. My body can't be controlled by one person. Your primordial spirit can't leave your body completely. I need you to energize your bodies and completely transform them into primordial spirit bodies. Fuxi said in a low voice. Yes. The two women answered. Fuxi waved his hand and a rolling force rushed toward the two women. Rumble. In the blink of an eye, the two women's bodies seemed to melt. Gradually, a yellow and transparent body appeared. Their bodies slowly melted into the yellow and transparent body. I'll leave my body and the two of you will enter my body. Remember, as long as my body is not destroyed, I won't die. Fuxi said in a low voice. Yes. The two women answered. Boom. Fuxi's body trembled violently. Then, Fuxi seemed to have turned into a statue. Countless cracks appeared on his face. Above Fuxi's head, a golden human figure slowly flew out. The golden transparent body contained the life providence of a great Tao warrior. A 19-colored halo appeared above Fuxi's head. This is Meng Rongrong's primordial spirit said in surprise. The king's primordial spirit has already reached the 19th level. Coupled with the great Tao warrior realm, he is already invincible, Snake Spirit explained. Boom. Fuxi's primordial spirit suddenly left his body. Fuxi's body, on the other hand, was rapidly disintegrating and drying up. Meng Rongrong, quick! Snake Spirit shouted. Oh! Boom! Meng Rongrong and Snake Spirit quickly entered Fuxi's body. In an instant, Meng Rongrong and Snake Spirit appeared in the eyes of Fuxi's body. Heavenly demons enter the body. In the eyes of Fuxi's body, Meng Rongrong and Snake Spirit urged their bodies. Fuxi's body opened its mouth. Roar. Opening its mouth, countless heavenly demons poured into its mouth. The group of Snake Clan members began to move quickly. They controlled all the heavenly demons in all directions. The heavenly demons stirred and moved towards Fuxi's body. Meng Rongrong and Snake Spirit used Fuxi's body to refine these heavenly demons. In order to protect Fuxi's body, rumble. The rolling heavenly demons drowned Fuxi's body. As for Fuxi's primordial spirit, it flew out of his body and headed towards Wuji. Whoosh. Fuxi headed straight for the depths of Wuji. Crack. The 64 hexagrams in Fuxi's primordial spirit suddenly collapsed, and the great Tao warrior's life providence could no longer be bound. Waves of great Tao warrior's aura emanated from the life providence. Where am I? The great Tao warrior's aura came. Great Tao warrior, I am Fuxi. I want to borrow your life providence and realm to help me destroy fate. Fuxi said solemnly. Take me in realm? The woman's voice carried a trace of doubt. I will pass on my thoughts to you now. What do you think? Fuxi said as he flew. After flying for a while, the woman suddenly sighed. Fuxi. The Snake Clan, what a great idea. What do you think? You have been planning since the first era and almost succeeded. At the very least, I am inferior to you in this aspect. My realm can be used by you. I hope you succeed. I hope the people of the world can live. The great Tao warrior's voice carried a trace of pity. I will do my best. Fuxi's primordial spirit replied. Boom. Fuxi continued to fly into the distance. On the other side of Wuji, the two Yang Chuan were trampling on the unlucky Tomb Immortal King. Tomb Immortal King screamed, I didn't lie to you. You lied to me. The human Yang Chuan shouted. I really didn't. I put Meow and Butterfly Queen into that space. I really didn't lie to you. It's true, it's true. Tomb Immortal King wailed. I know it's true. The zombie Yang Chuan said as he fought. Ah! Tomb Immortal King was hit hard in the face, but his mind couldn't keep up. You know, I just want to hit you. The zombie Yang Chuan continued. Fart. Tomb Immortal King was so depressed that he wanted to vomit blood. Yang Chuan, spare people when possible. Have you had enough? Tomb Immortal King said with grief and indignation. Boom. Yang Chuan ignored him. Tomb Immortal King was extremely frightened. Suddenly, the two figures of Yang Chuan paused and froze in the middle of Wuji. You, what are you doing? Tomb Immortal King was shocked. These two couldn't be thinking of some abnormal move, right? Yang Chuan paused. Fate. Fate is here again. Did fate discover the life providence of a great Tao paragon? Yang Chuan's expression changed. Rumble. The overwhelming consciousness of fate was about to drown Yang Chuan again. Yang Chuan naturally resisted. After the first experience, it was much better this time. Buzz. The great emperor altar appeared under their feet, and a golden light suddenly surged into their bodies. Buzz. Zombie Yang Chuan became fate's first choice again. Suddenly, another head grew next to the zombie Yang Chuan's head. However, this time, Yang Chuan did not faint. Bastard. The human Yang Chuan quickly rushed over. Fate's head appeared and twisted. Suddenly, a golden light appeared in its palm. Boom. The golden light rushed toward the human Yang Chuan and instantly formed a sphere, trapping the human Yang Chuan inside. Rumble. Yang Chuan in his human form tried his best to hit the sphere, but the sphere was too hard and he couldn't break it no matter how hard he tried. What? The human Yang Chuan's expression changed. It was not because he was trapped, but because of Fate's head. Fate's eyes actually had more spirituality than before. Yes, spirituality. Although Fate's eyes had 19 colors in the past, they were extremely dull. But this time, they had spirituality. In other words, Fate's consciousness this time was more than before. It was much more than before. Boom. The zombie Yang Chuan also reached out to hit Fate's head. How dare you? Fate's head shouted coldly. It suddenly spat out a golden light from its mouth. The golden light instantly surged into the zombie Yang Chuan's head, and the zombie Yang Chuan's head was instantly sealed. The zombie Yang Chuan of the 18 heavenly layers was completely powerless in the face of Fate. Not far away, the Tomb Immortal King looked at Fate in shock. Is Fate going to completely awaken? Why is it so spiritual? The Tomb Immortal King said in shock. Fate's gaze swept across the Tomb Immortal King and then turned to look at the depths of Wuji. Boom. Fate continued to surge forward. Chapter 1584. Is Fate about to fully awaken? Why is it so intelligent? Tomb Immortal King said in shock. Fate glanced at Tomb Immortal King and then turned to look at the depths of Wuji. Boom. Fate continued to surge forward. Fate snorted at me just now. That look. Has Fate completely awakened? It can't be. Tomb Immortal King's face darkened. At this moment, even though Tomb Immortal King was seriously injured, he quickly chased in the direction of Fate. In the golden ball, Yang Chuan was trapped and couldn't get out. Boom. 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 After destroying it again and again, the golden ball only shook for a while. Is this the 19th heaven? Yang Chuan's face flashed with an ugly look. He was already at the 18th heaven and had the top strength in the world, but his current strength was useless in the face of Fate's imprisonment. Forget it, since I can't break this seal, then I'll comprehend Fate's body. You're in my body, I'll check your strength. Yang Chuan slowly calmed down. Sitting cross-legged, Yang Chuan's mind sank into his body. To be precise, he sank into Fate's consciousness. Yang Chuan's consciousness was still in the surging chaos sea, but Yang Chuan knew that this was a rare opportunity. Fate appeared so close, how could he waste it? After calming down, Yang Chuan's mind entered the chaos sea. After a while, Yang Chuan gradually saw the difference in the chaos sea. The chaos sea was not liquid. Instead, it was like an endless net. It was densely packed and formed the shape of the chaos sea. This net was also connected to endless small light spots. They were of different colors. This is the fate of everyone in the world. Yang Chuan's expression suddenly turned serious. The net of fate connected all the fate of the world. Are all birth charts under the control of fate? Fate. Yang Chuan's eyes lit up, and he quickly searched in the net of fate, trying to find the connection to his fate. First world, northeast continent. Dongfang Bubai suddenly looked up at the sky. Master, what's wrong? Lotus Goddess asked curiously. Fate has appeared again. Moreover, it's different this time. At least half of Fate's consciousness has awakened. Invincible East said solemnly. Half? Lotus Goddess asked in surprise. Half. Invincible East nodded solemnly. How much was it in the past? How much was it when you fought the Nether River Patriarch? Lotus Goddess asked curiously. A quarter at most. Could it be that the awakening of the great Tao sovereign startled him? Dongfang Bubai said with a gloomy expression. As he spoke, Invincible East stretched out his hand and started calculating. After calculating for a moment, his face suddenly darkened. Fushi. So that thing was placed there by Fushi? Invincible East was shocked. Speaking of the limitless realms, apart from the four realms, there was another place that existed within the limitless realms. It was called the sky beyond heaven. Heavens beyond battlefield. In the past, before the four realms were united, the various heroes of the four realms met in the heavens beyond battlefield and fought against each other. This was an otherworldly land, an extremely strange place. The original form of the heavens beyond battlefield was an incomparably vast human figure. The human-shaped battlefield lay across the limitless realms. The four realms had their own passageways that were connected to it for the powerhouses of the four realms to fight here. After the four realms were united, no one returned. However, this place remained quietly in the limitless realms. Even as the limitless realms continued to melt, it remained resolute. Outside the North Continent. Realm Lord, there's a message from the entrance of the heavens beyond heaven. There's been a change. Yi Yang shouted. Zhongshan replied, "Oh?" As he spoke, Zhongshan quickly passed through the entrance of the greater world and looked towards the heavens beyond heaven. That incomparably huge heavens beyond battlefield. At this moment, the ground was cracking, layer by layer, and trembling rapidly. At the entrance of the greater world, there was a monument of the martyrs of the greater world. It was erected by Zhongshan in the past to pay tribute to the martyrs of the greater world. At this moment, the monument of the martyrs was about to fall. Zhongshan waved his hand and grabbed the monument of the martyrs. Along with that, a large piece of land peeled off. There was no eruption of volcanoes, only a large piece of land shook. It was as if a layer of dead skin was spat out. Slowly, the heavens beyond battlefield spat out a layer of skin, revealing an inner shell that was sparkling and translucent. It was as bright as pearls and jade, and its entire body was glowing with 19 colors. "What's going on?" Yi Yang asked in surprise. Zhongshan stepped forward and entered the heavens beyond heaven. Rumble. The rolling dead skin fell off, and the outline of the heavens beyond heaven became more and more obvious. "Is it really a giant?" Zhongshan asked solemnly. Jian Ao also came to the side. "No, why did the heavens beyond heaven become a giant? Is this a corpse? 19 colors, a body of the 19th heaven?" Jian Ao exclaimed. "No, it's not a body, it has a soul." Zhongshan widened his eyes. "Ah!" Jian Ao was also surprised. However, this soul does not have spirituality, but it is extremely outstanding. However, it seems to be pieced together, there are countless. Zhongshan suddenly widened his eyes. "What's wrong?" Jian Ao asked curiously. Zhongshan's face darkened. I understand now. Someone purposely created the heavens beyond heaven to create this monster of the 19th heaven." Purposely? Jian Ao's eyelids twitched. "You're saying that the heavens beyond heaven in the past was a conspiracy? Someone purposely started the war, and then used the blood, flesh, and souls of the heroes of the four worlds to nourish this monster?" Jian Ao's face darkened. "That's right. When the four worlds were separated, there were rumors that each world wanted to annex each other, and use each other's worlds to nourish their own. For the sake of the people in their respective worlds, the four worlds selected countless peerless experts to fight in the heavens beyond heaven. It was like a war between the four nations. This is a battlefield, bones are everywhere, flesh and blood are everywhere, and souls have nowhere to go. This is all a conspiracy." Zhongshan's face darkened. "Who?" Jian Ao's eyes flashed with anger. "This conspiracy caused the deaths of countless peerless experts." Wang. At this moment, a ray of golden light suddenly appeared. It was Fushi's spiritual deity. The spiritual deity wrapped in the life providence of a great Tao paragon, and suddenly appeared on the heavens beyond heaven battlefield. Below, the heavens beyond heaven battlefield had already turned into a level 19 monster without spirituality, and it emitted a strong aura. Fuxi. Zhongshan's face darkened. In midair, Fuxi looked down at the heavens beyond heaven battlefield. The blood, flesh, and souls of the elites have finally been nourished. Heroes of all worlds, your sacrifice will be worth it. Fuxi shouted loudly. As he shouted, Fuxi's spiritual deity slowly descended on the heavens beyond heaven battlefield. Zhongshan and Jian Ao quickly retreated. As they retreated, Fuxi's spiritual deity instantly entered the heavens beyond heaven battlefield. Wang. The human-shaped heavens beyond heaven battlefield suddenly emitted a dazzling 19-colored light, and a strong aura surged in all directions. This aura? Jian Ao was shocked. Level 19. Zhongshan's face darkened. Rumble. The heavens beyond heaven battlefield shook, and as it trembled, it gradually shrank. Although it shrank, its aura became stronger and stronger. The eyes of the jade-like body slowly opened. Wang. 2 19-colored lights were emitted from its eyes. After twisting its body, the human-shaped monster slowly straightened its body and turned to look at Zhongshan and Jian Ao, who were not far away. Fuxi. Congratulations, Fuxi. What a great idea. Although you relied on external forces, you managed to reach the level 19. Zhongshan congratulated. Fuxi nodded from afar. I've thought of everything. Body, soul, spirit, cultivation level. I've reached the 19 heavens, the most perfect 19 heavens. In the past, Nether River created a new world. Unfortunately, even though he mobilized the power of an entire world, he still wasn't a match for fate, because Nether River Patriarch's 19 heavens were still lacking. Today, I have achieved enough. Fuxi nodded. Zhongshan nodded. Although countless heroes in the past had been implicated by Fuxi's scheme, if Fuxi really succeeded, everyone would be willing to die. Level 19. I, Zhongshan, wish Fuxi victory. Zhongshan said solemnly. Fuxi nodded. As he spoke, he ignored Zhongshan. This was because Fuxi felt a strong aura coming from afar. Boom. Another figure that was shining with 19-colored light suddenly appeared. It was Zombie Yang Chuan. However, Zombie Yang Chuan had 2 heads. One was Yang Chuan's consciousness, which had been sealed. The other was naturally fate. Fate stopped not far away from Fuxi. 19 heavens. Fate revealed a surprised expression. Fate is surprised. Jian Ao's expression changed. Zhongshan's expression also sank. In the past, when Fate recovered, it was only a part of his consciousness. His expression was dull and his thoughts were monotonous. But now, he was surprised. The recovery of Fate's consciousness is much stronger than before. Zhongshan said solemnly. Fuxi set up the heavens beyond battlefield to fight against Fate. Jian Ao said solemnly. Ming Old Ancestor wanted to create a new world, a place for the common people to live in. It was a place where they could hide from Fate. However, he failed in the end. Fuxi is obviously not that simple. Fuxi's idea is to defeat Fate and kill it. Zhongshan's eyes narrowed. By killing Fate, the common people will naturally be safe. But to kill this, Jian Ao was shocked by Fuxi's plan. On the other hand, he was worried. Defense is bound to fail. Fuxi is turning from defense to offense. He wants to kill Fate, Zhongshan said. At this moment, not only Zhongshan, Dongfang Bubai, Lotus God, Shodai, Tomb Immortal King, and other peerless experts all appeared. They were watching the upcoming battle in Wuji. Fuxi's 19-colored divine flame burst out. Fate's 19-colored divine flame was still there. The 2 peerless experts looked at each other. Most importantly, Fate's expression was no longer dull. Level 19. You dare to hide this from me? You've got guts, you meatworm. Fate said coldly. The obvious logic in his words made everyone's heart skip a beat. Fate without spirituality in the past had swept everything. Now that he was full of spirituality, it was even more terrifying. Chapter 1585. Yang Chuan was trapped. His consciousness sank into the chaos sea and saw the vast net of Fate. Apart from that, he could feel the threads that connected him to his life charts. Although the trillions of life charts were controlled by fate, the number was simply too large. Even with Yang Chuan's current strength, he could not help but feel dizzy. It was impossible for fate to pay attention to everyone at all times. It would only focus on knowing who it was when it needed to target. In the vast net of fate, it was extremely difficult for Yang Chuan to find the thread that connected him to his life charts. After searching for a while, he still could not find it. Yang Chuan's consciousness gradually closed his eyes and focused on comprehending his life charts. He used his life charts to find the thread that connected him to his life charts. In the Chaos Sea, Yang Chuan roamed around for a while. After an unknown period of time, perhaps 10,000 years, or perhaps just an instant, Yang Chuan's consciousness suddenly opened his eyes. Through his senses, Yang Chuan found his line, which was connected to a light spot. However, the dot of light was inconspicuous. It was surrounded by a layer of grey fog. Compared to the trillions of life charts, it was even more insignificant. Is this antimatter that has concealed the brilliance of my life providence? Yang Chuan's consciousness flashed with satisfaction. Then, he turned around and studied the life charts that connected him to his life charts. Those that were close to his life charts should be people close to him, right? After searching for a life chart that was not far away, Yang Chuan did not know who it was. Instead, he sent a message with his consciousness. I'm Yang Chuan. Who are you? A brief message was sent. Xianyang City. Some of the important officials returned to Xianyang from the Bai clan's old site to appease the people. Bai Qi was giving instructions to a few of his personal guards when his expression suddenly changed. My lord, what's wrong? One of the personal guards asked in surprise. Protect me. Don't let anyone disturb me, Bai Qi said in a deep voice. Understood. Everyone replied. Bai Qi quickly closed his eyes and sat cross-legged. Just a moment ago, he heard someone calling out to him, I'm Yang Chuan. Who are you? The Great Emperor? Official Bai Qi greets the Great Emperor, Bai Qi said respectfully in his heart. Although he didn't know what was going on, he could still recognize Yang Chuan's voice. Bai Qi. Within the sea of consciousness, Yang Chuan was overjoyed. Yes, Your Majesty. We have just returned to Xianyang and heard that the Tomb Immortal King has caused a ruckus in the Great Qin City. Right now, we are commanding the alchemists to help the injured citizens and to gather the souls of those whose souls have been scattered. Bai Qi said solemnly. Very good. Now, we need someone to cooperate with us to experiment on some things. Yang Chuan said solemnly. This subject will cooperate fully. Very good. I need to borrow the power of your birth chart. Bai Qi, think of my name and borrow the power of my birth chart. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Bai Qi quickly thought of Yang Chuan's name in his heart. Following that, a wave of energy seemed to disappear into thin air and surged toward Yang Chuan through the connection. At this moment, the energy of the birth chart was depleted. Bai Qi's body was instantly drained of energy. His originally burly figure quickly lost weight, and his face looked haggard. My lord. What's wrong with my lord? Oh no, my lord's cultivation has gone berserk. Quickly, wake my lord up. Everyone's expression changed drastically when they saw Bai Qi's change. Fortunately, Bai Qi's personal guards had followed him for many years. They carried out Bai Qi's orders 100%. Stop. My lord hasn't given any orders. No one is allowed to disturb him. One of the guards stepped forward. Boss, look. My lord's blood essence is being depleted. It'll be bad if we don't wake him up. The guard's expression stiffened. I understand, but my lord's orders are above everything. Everyone felt helpless. The leader who stopped them had an anxious expression on his face. Bai Qi, who was originally strong, had lost a lot of weight at this moment. Bai Qi also noticed that his blood essence was being depleted. However, due to his loyalty to Yang Chuan, he did not stop him. All right. Yang Chuan's voice rang in the air. Bai Qi's birth chart power was cut off. Great Emperor, is this enough? Bai Qi asked inwardly. Very good, very good. Bai Qi, you've done me a great favor. You've allowed me to control a great power. Good. Ha 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 ha. Yang Chuan's voice slowly faded away. Bai Qi sensed his surroundings for a moment. When he could no longer sense Yang Chuan, he slowly opened his eyes. My lord, you're awake? My lord, are you all right? Everyone was anxious. Ha 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 ha. Although Bai Qi had lost a lot of blood essence, he still laughed loudly. Bai Qi's laughter was filled with joy. Although he did not know how he had helped Yang Chuan, based on Yang Chuan's attitude, he understood how important it was. Bai Qi was happy to be able to help the great emperor. My lord, how are you? A general stepped forward to check on Bai Qi. Bai Qi had lost a lot of blood essence and his vitality was greatly damaged. How could Bai Qi still laugh? Scram, you little rascals. Let's go. I'm in a good mood. Let's go have a drink. Bai Qi smiled and pushed the general away. In the Chaos Sea, Yang Chuan, who had just obtained Bai Qi's birth chart power, was overjoyed. Yang Chuan's consciousness returned to his body, and he slowly opened his eyes. The net of fate connects all living beings. Earlier, I only used Bai Qi's birth chart power. The situation was very small, so I didn't disturb fate. What if I can use the birth chart power of all living beings? Yang Chuan's eyes flashed with a bright light. That won't do. First of all, not all living beings will lend their birth chart power to me. Secondly, if I cause too much of a commotion, fate will definitely retaliate. It won't be that easy. Yang Chuan frowned. Fortunately, I have the Great Emperor's altar. I can borrow the East Wind. Now that the East Wind is ready, I just need to do everything. Yang Chuan took a deep breath as excitement flashed in his eyes. Now that he had grasped the most crucial part, the future would not be so difficult. Now, I'll try to find someone else to make sure nothing goes wrong. Yang Chuan's consciousness returned to the Chaos Sea. In another battlefield in the Wuji realm, Fu Shi's monstrous avatar was already at the 19th heavenly layer. Its ferocious might was not inferior to his opponent's birth chart. Birth chart already had spirituality and was getting more and more terrifying. Fu Shi smiled slightly. Birth chart is one with the heavens and earth. It should follow the heavenly Tao and coexist with all living beings. If you are benevolent, all living beings will respect you and obey your orders. However, you are too cold. You are like a worm to them. After using you, they want to destroy you. That's why there is today's calamity. I already hate you, bunch of worms. Now, I hate you even more. How dare you hide from me and ambush me several times? All of you deserve to die. Birth chart said coldly. As he spoke, birth chart took the lead and punched at Fu Shi. The invincible heavy punch had the power of the 19th heavenly layer. It was the same power that killed the Nether River Patriarch in the past. Boom. Wherever the giant punch went, a sea of energy surged. Fu Shi's eyes focused. He stretched out his right palm and an 8 trigrams pattern appeared in his palm. Boom. The palm and fist collided. Fu Shi did not move from his spot and blocked the punch. The sea of energy around him exploded. Huge waves surged into the sky. However, Fu Shi easily blocked birth chart's attack. Easily? In the distance, a group of peerless experts widened their eyes. Fu Shi was too strong, wasn't he? Chapter 1586. The surging sea of energy swept up huge waves. At the center, Fu Shi and Ming Shu's fist is awakening. Collided. Zombie Yang Chuan easily blocked Ming Shu's punch. Fu Shi and fate were in a cultivators in the surroundings were shot in a flash. Zombie Yang Chuan, 10 days, whose fate was intertwined with his body, revealed a look of joy at this moment. The impact grew curled into a faint smile. However, but there was still no clear victor. Fu Shi punched out with his other hand, feeling a little depressed. Dongfang Bubai's eyes flashed. Other hand instantly formed a palm and struck out. What's wrong? The two of them Fate has awakened another quarter. The ferocious force means formed a wave of energy that was several times stronger than before. Fate has stopped awakening. The rumbling sound shocked the surrounding cultivators. What do you mean? What a powerful Fu Shi has confirmed that he can defeat Fu Shi now. Grave
Dongfang
Immortal
Bubai
King
said
had
in
a
a
blank
deep
look
voice.
on his face.
If I
Is there
reach the
something
19th
wrong
heaven,
with Fuxi's
will I be
19
as strong
heavens?
as Fuxi?
Lotus
Grave
God said in
Immortal
shock.
King said in
No.
confusion.
Fuxi's
Open.
19 heavens
Fuxi
might have been
yelled.
pieced together,
Boom.
but it
The
is
huge
perfect.
force instantly
There are
sent
no
Ming
flaws.
Shu flying.
The only flaw
Yes,
is that
Ming
he
Shu
still
was
underestimated
flying.
fate.
What a shocking
Dongfang
thing this
Bubai
was.
said in a deep
Was
voice.
Ming Shu's first
What do you
defeat?
mean? Lotus
Can't you
Goddess,
see?
the great
Fate is
kindness
only
world's
fighting with a
experts,
part of
and
his
Genao
consciousness.
all applauded
Just a
Fuxi.
part of his
Fuxi
consciousness
actually
is
had
already
the upper
so
hand
strong.
in the battle
What
against
do you think
Ming
will
Shu?
happen if fate
What an
goes all out?
inconceivable scene.
Fate has been in the 19
The
heavens
surging
for
energy
countless
was
years.
quickly dissipated
Can it not
by
be
Wu Ji.
stronger than Fuxi,
Ming Shu
who
stood
just
in the
reached
void
the
and
19
stared at
heavens?
Fuxi.
Dongfang
Again,
Bubai
Fuxi
said in a
smiled.
deep voice.
As he
Boom.
spoke,
Fuxi's
Fuxi's
figure
flashed
power
and charged
surged
at
again.
Ming Shu.
As his
Ming
power
Shu's
surged,
face
the
darkened.
19-colored
He
light
quickly
around
waved
him
his
became
hand
even
and a
more
golden
dazzling.
light shot out.
The dazzling light
It was like the
instantly
golden
lit up
light
the
that trapped
surroundings.
Yang Chuan not
The
long
light
ago.
even drowned
It
Fuxi,
seemed to want
who
to
was in a
trap Fuxi
stalemate.
too.
Raw.
Fate cage.
Fuxi used his
Boom.
full strength.
Fuxi snorted
The fighting
coldly
spirit
and
in his
crashed into
eyes
it.
was still strong.
Boom.
The
Although
cage of
fate
fate
was
getting
instantly
stronger,
shattered,
Fuxi
and Fuxi
refused to
slammed
admit
into
defeat.
defeat.
Boom.
Fate,
I
Ming
won't
Shu
let you
was sent
destroy the
flying
world.
again.
Fuxi
Rumbling
said
anger
with a ferocious
erupted.
expression.
Fuxi's current
ferocious
strength was
expression,
unparalleled.
Fuxi stared
Whoosh.
fixedly
Ming
at Fate's
Shu
eyes.
stabilized his
As
body
he stared,
and looked at Fuxi's
Fuxi's
in
pupils
surprise.
suddenly
The
constricted.
crowd in the distance
Fate's
had
eyes
long
shone
held their
with
breaths.
19-colored light.
Fate,
The
however,
unsurpassable
Fuxi
peak
seemed to
was
see
actually
another
being
color
beaten
in the
back
19-colored
repeatedly in
light.
front of Fuxi.
That other color
Fuxi
flashed and
Destiny's
disappeared
eyes
as if it had not
darkened.
been born yet.
Buzz.
However,
Countless silhouettes
that flash
of
of
Fuxi
light
made
appeared
Fuxi's
beside
scalp
Ming
tingle
Shu
all
and
of
his
a sudden.
heart turned cold.
Master,
The
what are you
20th
doing?
color,
Lotus
flashed
God
and
asked in
disappeared.
surprise.
Fate
You are
is looking
trying to
into
reach the
Fuxi's
20th
growth.
heaven?
Dongfang
Fuxi's
Bubai
voice
explained.
was trembling.
No,
Fate
that cannot
governs the
exist in
fate of the
reality.
common people.
How can you
Everything
reach the
that
20th
happens
heaven?
in the common people
That doesn't
is recorded.
exist.
It
Fuxi
doesn't
is being
exist.
targeted.
Fuxi
Dongfang
exclaimed.
Bubai said
The loud
solemnly.
explosion
But
covered
Fuxi
Fuxi's
has
voice.
the advantage now.
However,
Lotus
Fuxi's
God
terrified
frowned.
expression
You
was
forgot
seen by
that this is
everyone in the
only half
distance.
of the consciousness
What's
of
wrong
fate.
with Fuxi?
Invincible
Did
East
Fuxi
said
see
in a
something
low voice.
terrifying?
I think
The
Nether
Lotus
River
Goddess
old
was
ancestor
slightly
had
taken
the same
aback.
expression when
Not
he
far
fought
away.
fate.
Fuxi's
What did they
silhouette
see?
appeared for a moment. Boom. All the lights and shadows suddenly disappeared. You
Chapter
actually erased all
1587.
information about
The 20th
yourself
color
after the
flashed
first
in a
epoch.
flash.
Even though
Fate said
Fuxi
solemnly.
was not defeated
Fuxi
yet,
stared at
he
his
still
fate.
showed a look of despair.
Let's continue.
Every heaven
Fuxi's
after
figure
reaching the
flickered
ancestral
as he charged
immortal
forward
realm
once
was
more.
like the difference
Knowing
between
how
heaven and
powerful
earth.
Fuxi was,
19
Destiny's
heavens was the
expression
nightmare
turned
of
serious.
all 18 heavens.
He punched out and
in the
clashed
past,
with Fuxi's
the Nether
palm
River
once
Patriarch's
more.
10,018
Destiny's
heavens
other
clones
hand
were no
also
match for
clashed with
119
Fuxi's
heavens.
other fist.
And now,
Boom.
he had barely
A
reached
monstrous
19
wave
heavens,
of energy
only to
surged
realize
around the
that
two of
fate
them.
might be ascending
Rumble.
to 20
The
heavens.
two of them
20
continued to be in a
heavens.
stalemate.
Who could be his match?
Fate's power grew
All
stronger
his hard
and
work
stronger.
had been exchanged
After
for
knowing
such a
how
truth.
powerful Fuxi
What a
was,
cruel truth.
more and more
Could
consciousnesses
everyone have
awakened.
been wrong?
The
Or was
most
the
direct
extinction of all life
understanding was in the
irreversible?
Chaos Sea.
No.
Yang
Fuxi's
Chuan's
roared in
consciousness
despair.
felt even more
He channeled
ferocious
his
waves.
power ferociously.
Yang
However,
Chuan's
Fate's
consciousness
power was
quickly
getting
retreated
stronger.
from the Chaos
On
Sea.
Fate's neck,
Fate
zombie
was growing
Yang Chuan's
stronger.
head was also
Fate
struggling
and
to break
Fuxi
free
were in
from
a
Fate's
stalemate.
seal.
Waves of divine
The seal
flame
was
spread
broken.
out from their bodies.
Fuxi was slightly
Fuxi's
taken aback
expression
as he looked
gradually
at
turned
zombie Yang
serious.
Chuan.
Fuxi's
Fate's
eyes
also
also
filled
turned
with
colder.
the image of the 8
His gaze,
trigrams,
which originally
suddenly
had some
he saw a drop
spirituality,
of liquid
became
flickering
even more
between
sinister.
zombie Yang Chuan's
Zombie
brows.
Yang Chuan's
Nether
eyelids
River
twitched.
Patriarch's new world.
Not good.
Fuxi exclaimed. Raw. Zombie Yang Chuan wanted to help Fuxi, so he opened his mouth and spat out the Nether River. Boom. The SDYX slammed into Fate's head, instantly wiping out Fate's advantage. Furthermore, Fate trembled violently and was sent flying by Fuxi. Quick! Zombie Yang Chuan shouted at Fuxi. Fate turned his head and looked at Zombie Yang Chuan's head. You're courting death. When I destroy Fuxi, it'll be your time to die. Fate's consciousness had already awakened 3/4, so he naturally understood the severity of Yang Chuan. His eyes flashed with murderous intent. Fuxi did not dare to hesitate as he punched Fate again. Boom. Fate and Fuxi were in a stalemate. Fuxi, you're already at 19 heavens and #1 in the world. If you lose again, all life will die. I'll help you destroy Fate. Zombie Yang Chuan shouted. Zombie Yang Chuan shouted as he controlled his left hand with all his might. Buzz. With a slight
slight movement, it caused the power of fate to deviate. Fushi's heavy blow landed on fate's head. Boom! Fate's head exploded with a loud bang. Buzz! The great monarch sacrificial altar beneath Yang Chuan's feet shone brightly, and the Fate god head that had exploded earlier grew out once again. Bastard! How dare you interrupt me from killing the Fuxi celestial race? You're courting death. Fate glared at Zhongyu and shouted. As he spoke, he reached out his hand to destroy Yang Chuan's head. When Fuxi saw that he was rushing over, he could only give up. However, he turned his head and spat out another beam of golden light. Boom! Yang Chuan's head was sealed again. Boom! His fists and Fuxi were once again in a deadlock. Fuxi stared at Yang Chuan. He was also very surprised. Yang Chuan actually broke free from the suppression of fate. Furthermore, the Nether River Patriarch had passed on all his inheritances to Yang Chuan. The Nether River Patriarch had given up on repairing his own fate to help Yang Chuan. He even gave the heart of the new world to Yang Chuan and placed all his hopes on Yang Chuan. Why? Fuxi's eyes flashed with confusion as he faced fate. There were only a few heroes in the world that Fuxi admired, and the Nether River Patriarch was one of them. In the past, they often communicated and naturally understood how ambitious the Nether River Patriarch was. He refused to submit to heaven and earth and wanted to create a new great world. How could such an ambitious person place all his hopes on Yang Chuan? Buzz! 28 trigrams spun quickly in Fuxi's eyes as he stared at Yang Chuan's forehead. Fuxi's gaze seemed to be looking into the past. Even the great Tao Venerate that was swallowed was shocked by the powerful deduction technique. As he deduced and deduced, Fuxi saw what he wanted. In Fuxi's eyes, he gradually saw the Nether River Patriarch that day. I understand now. Yang Chuan, I underestimated you. It's not that you don't have a foundation, but that your foundation is stronger than anyone else's. Hope. Ha ha ha, hope for the common people. When heroes like us face fate, almost all of us have the determination to die. We will die without hesitation. We cut off all means of retreat and force ourselves to move forward. But you are different. You have hope in your heart. You have hope for the great harmony of the world. You firmly believe that the common people will be saved. You persist in this hope. You are led by hope. We are forced by ourselves. This is your foundation. This is the foundation that allowed you to reach where you are today. Our various divine abilities are just tools on your journey. You have the greatest foundation. Yang Chuan, today, let me fulfill your wish. I let you use my strength, not for you, but for the common people. We've all underestimated fate, I've underestimated him. Ha ha ha, he's not what you think he is. The four realms are about to merge. Even if I'm fully recovered, I'm still no match for fate. You're different, Yang Chuan. You have something that we don't have. Hence, I'll grant you your wish. You're able to contend against fate, and you've succeeded in your first attempt. Yang Chuan, you bear my hope. You must succeed. You must. A new world was born and destroyed. However, I have perfected the world core. Now, I seal it between your eyebrows. I hope that I can awaken again. I hope that when I awaken again, fate is gone. Everyone can live a life of desperation. Everyone can be a dragon. Fuxi continued to deduce Nether River Patriarch's words. When he reached this point, Fuxi showed a hint of bitterness. So, Nether River Patriarch also saw the 20th color. He also saw it. Fuxi smiled bitterly. No wonder he chose to sacrifice himself even after perfecting the world core. I originally thought that his world core wasn't perfected, but it turns out that his idea of creation was realized. It's just that he encountered something even more terrifying, something like fate. Fuxi thought seriously. In a deadlock with fate, Fuxi was being suppressed more and more thoroughly. His expression was bitter. My thinking is also correct. Defeat fate, and the common people will be saved. However, I still underestimated fate. Establishing the heavens beyond and reaching the 19 heavens was still not enough. I was still too short-sighted. Fuxi showed a bitter expression. He looked at the sealed Yang Chuan and then at the ferocious fate. Fuxi's expression gradually became serious. Defeat fate. This time, I have also failed. If I fail, Yang Chuan will also die. After all, fate is not like last time. He has recovered 3/4 of his consciousness. He will not mistake Yang Chuan again. Fuxi stared at Yang Chuan. Fuxi's eyes flashed with determination. Head Dao warrior, I have offended you this time. However, I still failed at the last step. I am very sorry, Fuxi said loudly. In Fuxi's body, a golden fate shone with golden light. A gentle voice lamented, there is no need to be sorry. The common people's calamity has its own way. You also did it for the common people. However, fate's foundation is the strongest. I do not blame you. I only feel sorry for the common people. As long as the common people do not die, the great Tao will not end. Although we have lost, there is still hope for the common people. Head Dao warrior, I need you to help me leave a spark for the common people, Fuxi said solemnly. Spark? Head Dao warrior was slightly confused. Fuxi immediately transmitted what he had deduced to Head Dao warrior. Hope. The hope of the common people. I understand. Fuxi, I will help you. Head Dao warrior said solemnly. Facing his fate, he revealed a puzzled expression. Flame seed? What hope are you talking about? Fate stared coldly at Fuxi. Head Dao warrior, your realm is close to fate. At this moment, fate has partially awakened and has not reached its peak. Do your best and burn our fate charts to use the art of stealing fate, Fuxi said solemnly. All right. Head Dao warrior said. Fate, in the past, you were the one who erased the common people's memories. Today, I will erase your memories and clear fate, Fuxi said. Yang Chuan, who was standing at the side, opened his eyes wide. Erase the common people's memories? How could Fuxi and Head Dao warrior erase the common people's memories? Buzz. Fuxi's body suddenly emitted a dazzling 19-colored light. In an instant, the light enveloped fate. However, Fuxi's body seemed to be burning rapidly. The burning light rushed towards fate. What? Fate suddenly exclaimed. Burn my fate charts and burn your memories, Head Dao warrior said. Fuxi's art of stealing fate rushed towards fate with Head Dao warrior's full support. Rumble. The rolling power drowned the four of them. Zombie Yang Chuan saw and knew Fuxi's plan. Sadness flashed in his eyes. Yang Chuan's body showed a trace of bitterness. He gradually withdrew his consciousness and sank into the chaos sea, pretending to be unconscious. Rumble. Fate's memories flowed in reverse. Gradually, the memory of the previous battle disappeared. Slowly, it returned to how it was at the beginning. Around them, the peerless experts widened their eyes and looked at the scene in front of them in shock. Rumble. Fuxi's physical body was gradually burning. Fuxi and Fate's bodies also gradually retreated to Yang Chuan's body. Fate's expression was slightly empty. Many of his memories were erased. Suddenly, Fate's eyes narrowed. Rumble. Fate's consciousness returned and broke through all the art of stealing fate. At this moment, Fuxi and Head Dao warrior were all destroyed. I hope that everyone in the world can live a miserable life. Fuxi sighed slightly. The light gradually dissipated. Fate woke up but lost some of his previous memories. At this moment, he suddenly saw that not far away, Head Dao warrior's fate chart had countless cracks. Ka. Head Dao warrior's fate chart gradually shattered, then turned into rolling luck and surged into heaven and earth again. Fate frowned and looked in front of him with a strange expression. I haven't looked for you yet, and you've already immortalized. Head Dao warrior. Where's your courage? Ha ha ha, what a joke. Fate looked at the collapsing Head Dao warrior's fate chart and sneered. In his memory, Fate only woke up when he sensed Head Dao warrior waking up. However, as soon as he woke up, he saw Head Dao warrior scared to the point of collapse. Fate revealed a strange expression. Although he felt that something was wrong, it didn't seem to be a problem at all. Looking around, Fate slowly closed his eyes. Buzz. Fate slowly retreated. The head of Fate on Zombie Yang Chuan's shoulder also slowly dissipated. The cage of Fate that trapped Yang Chuan's body also dissipated. The two Yang Chuans woke up at the right time. Chapter 1588. The two Yang Chuan awakened at the right time. Standing in the middle of Wuji, the two were silent. His fate was much stronger than he had imagined. He was close to the 20th heavenly layer, or perhaps he had already reached it. All of Fuxi's creations had failed. Determination flashed in the eyes of the two Yang Chuan. Suddenly, they turned their heads and looked into the distance. In the distance, Dongfang Bubai, Lotus Goddess, and the others were rushing over. Yang Chuan froze. All of the peerless powerful beings were extremely shocked as well. They did not know what was going on for Fuxi to not continue fighting. What was going on? Everyone was puzzled. They all surrounded Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan, what happened to Fuxi just now? Although he was suppressed just now, he wasn't defeated yet. Why did he give up? Zhongshan was puzzled. The two immortal king, Dongfang Bubai, Lotus Deity, and the peerless experts of the great benevolence world were all staring at Yang Chuan. Yang Chuan didn't try to hide the truth. Fuxi saw the 20th color in the fist of fate. 20 colors. Everyone's expression changed. The 19 heavenly layers were already unimaginable to the crowd. Now, there was still the 20th heavenly layer. Graveyard Immortal King clenched his fists. Everyone fell silent. Turning his head, Dongfang Bubai suddenly looked at the heavenly devil world. Fuxi. Still there. Invincible East's expression froze. Boom. Invincible East shot straight towards the heavenly devil world. Yang Chuan's expression changed, and he flew over as well. A group of people rushed towards the Snake Clan. The Noggers controlled countless heavenly demons to enter Fuxi's body, but Fuxi's body was still in a state of decay. How could this be? Snake Spirit exclaimed. Quick, quick. Master said that as long as the physical body is not destroyed, Master will not die. Quickly. Meng Rongrong shouted. Hurry up. The group of Snake Clan members frantically activated countless heavenly demons. Heavenly demons surged into Fuxi's body. Buzz. Suddenly, a crack appeared on the head of the Fuxi's body and a third eye appeared. Master. My king. Everyone cheered. Fuxi had awoken. He looked around. Sigh. Fuxi sighed. Swish. Suddenly, a large number of peerless experts also landed beside Fuxi. Heavenly demon. Everyone's expression changed. No one stopped the Noggers from manipulating the heavenly demons. They all looked at Fuxi. Fuxi, you're not dead. Yang Chuan asked solemnly. As long as my physical body is intact, I won't die. What a pity. Fuxi sighed. Pity what? Even if I survive, there's nothing I can do about fate. It's up to you now. Fuxi said solemnly. We will do our best. Yang Chuan nodded. Dongfang Bubai looked at Fuxi with a complicated look in his eyes. Yang Chuan, the head Dao warrior, and I did everything we could to prevent fate from remembering you. I hope you can take care of yourself. That was the last time. If fate wakes up again, no one can help you. Fuxi said solemnly. Thank you. Next time. I already have a plan. Yang Chuan nodded solemnly. That's the best. Fuxi smiled. The head Dao warrior has immortalized. I'm going to immortalize too. Fuxi said again. Master, aren't you immortal? Meng Rongrong suddenly shouted. Previously, I erased a part of fate's memory. It's more serious than being killed by fate. If I survive, I will trigger fate like the head Dao warrior. Therefore, I must immortalize. Only in this way can I hide from fate. Fuxi said solemnly. The surrounding people were slightly solemn. Noggers, listen to me. When I immortalize, Meng Rongrong will be the new king. Fuxi said. My king, don't immortalize. All the Noggers knelt down in grief. Ha 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 ha, what's there to grieve about? What's there to grieve about death? I can just resurrect in the future after immortalizing. I can use my strength to reverse the primordial spirits of the two of you and restore your physical bodies. Fuxi said with a smile. Buzz. His eyes flashed slightly. The primordial spirits of Meng Rongrong and Nogger Jingjing flew out and surged into their bodies. Rumble. The primordial spirits were reversed and restored to their original state. Master, my king. The two girls knelt down. Yang Chuan, since I've placed all my hopes on you, this bead is for you. You have a fateless soul. This bead is the result of my cultivation. It contains my 64 hexagrams and can help your fateless soul to make the final breakthrough. Fuxi spat out a golden bead. On the bead, there were 64 hexagrams floating. Thank you. Yang Chuan took it and bowed solemnly. Ha 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 ha. Fuxi laughed loudly. Gradually, his physical body turned into countless small light spots and then slowly dissipated. He immortalized and left. My king. Woo 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 woo. My king. Don't go. My king. The Noggers were indescribably sad. Yang Chuan was also silent. The heroes of the Great Kindness world looked at each other and then left under the lead of the grave deity king. Zhong Shan and Jian Ao looked at each other and also left. Only Yang Chuan, Dongfang Bubai, Sho Di, and Lotus deity remained. Meng Rongrong knelt on the ground where Fuxi had immortalized and wept softly. After crying for a while, Noga Jingjing looked at Meng Rongrong with a complicated look in her eyes. Then, Noga Jingjing looked at Yang Chuan and understood Fuxi's intention. Fuxi knew about the relationship between Meng Rongrong and Yang Chuan. Therefore, he entrusted the Noggers to Meng Rongrong. In return, he entrusted the Noggers to Yang Chuan. The Noggers and Meng Rongrong lived together day and night. Naturally, they were like family. Although Fuxi did not say it explicitly, he had arranged the future of the Noggers. Noga Jingjing greets my king. The rest of the Noggers were slightly stunned and unwilling. However, when they saw that Noga Jingjing had knelt down, they could only feel helpless. Greetings, my king. Greetings, my king. A series of greetings left Meng Rongrong at a loss. It took her a while to react. Rest assured, everyone. Master has entrusted you to me. I will do my best to share weal and woe with you, Meng Rongrong said solemnly. Thank you, my king, the Noggers said respectfully. Yang Chuan naturally waited for Meng Rongrong while Dongfang Bubai took a deep breath. Meng Rongrong. Dongfang Bubai shouted. Meng Rongrong wiped her tears and turned to look at him. Do you still remember what you promised me? Dongfang Bubai said. Meng Rongrong was also a member of Dongfang Bubai's sect in the past. However, she was a non-staff member. It was Dongfang Bubai who sent Meng Rongrong to the heavenly demon world. Yang Chuan was also present at that time. He only had one request, which was to help Dongfang Bubai find the Noggers' supreme treasure, Pushing Skynet. Sect Master, Meng Rongrong said with a complicated expression. Yang Chuan naturally walked to Meng Rongrong's side. He gave her support. Yang Di was also present at that time. Hair, it's time to fulfill the promise. You are now the king of the Noggers. Presumably, the Pushing Skynet is also under your command, Dongfang Bubai said with a smile. Meng Rongrong's expression was slightly complicated as she looked at Dongfang Bubai. Yang Chuan also looked at Meng Rongrong. This was what Meng Rongrong had promised. It should be decided by Meng Rongrong. No matter what the decision was, Yang Chuan would stand on Meng Rongrong's side. Pushing Skynet is an imitation of the original form of the Great Net of Fate by Fuxi in the past. It is used to predict the future of the world. It is useless to you but useful to me. Give it to me and consider it fulfilling the promise of the past. Of course, I can also help you revive Xuanmiao and Butterfly Queen, Dongfang Bubai said with a smile. Revive? Yang Chuan's expression changed. Chapter 1589. Revive. Miao and the Butterfly Queen? Meng Rongrong said in shock as she looked at Yang Chuan. Invincible East nodded. When Head Dao venerates consciousness awakened, his current life's memories and temperament will be destroyed by the first life. Even if he revives, the Butterfly Queen and Miao will not be able to come back. However, I have the mind-controlling divine power, Invincible East said solemnly. Mind-controlling divine power? The one from the Lotus Goddess Association? Yang Chuan said in a low voice. Back then, the Lotus Goddess used mind-controlling divine power to control Yang Dongan, but Yang Dongan managed to dodge it. Ha, Master's mind-controlling divine power is naturally not something I can compare to. Master's is the true third divine power in the world, the Lotus Goddess said. Invincible East nodded. Mind-controlling divine power is not just about controlling consciousness. The Butterfly Queen and mystical divine powers consciousness are currently scattered in the world's luck. I can extract their consciousness from the endless luck. This is mind-controlling divine power. Mind-controlling divine power? The third divine power in the world. Yang Chuan frowned slightly and turned to Meng Rongrong. Sure, I can give you the push heavenly net. I hope Sect Master Dongfang can fulfill his promise, Meng Rongrong said solemnly. Invincible East smiled. The Snake Clan members at the side were unwilling, but with the snake spirit pressuring them, they could not say anything. As he spoke, Invincible East reached out and grabbed at the sky. Boom! 3,000 stars suddenly lit up in the sky. As they lit up, an invisible force seemed to rush into the world's luck. Rumble! Golden light flashed as two torrents gathered at the heavenly demon world. Buzz! The two torrents gradually formed two egg-shaped spheres. Crack! A crack suddenly appeared on each of the egg-shaped spheres. Meow! A cat's cry came from one of the egg-shaped spheres. Boom! The two egg-shaped spheres cracked open. Meow! Yang Chuan! A small cat slowly opened its eyes in one of the egg-shaped spheres. It was extremely weak. It had lost all its cultivation. A colorful butterfly flew out of the other egg-shaped sphere. Pu! The butterfly flapped its wings and landed on the kitten's back. Meow! Yang Chuan's face lit up, and he immediately hugged Meow. Meow, Yang Chuan, I have no strength, Meow. Meow cried. Yang Chuan grabbed Meow and examined her carefully. Indeed, she was still Meow. The Butterfly Queen was still the Butterfly Queen. This soul fluctuation couldn't be wrong. Their consciousnesses are newly born consciousnesses of the Tao of Luck. I have separated them from the Tao of Luck. From now on, they are no longer related to the Tao of Luck. Invincible East said. Many thanks. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Yang Emperor, you don't have to be like this. We are all just common people. Invincible East shook his head. He turned to look at Meng Rongrong. Meng Rongrong also walked towards Fuxi's throne. Meng Rongrong quickly cast a spell. Gradually, the shape of Fuxi's throne changed slowly. It softened and emitted waves of black energy. Here! Invincible East's eyes flashed with joy. The throne gradually formed a black liquid. However, if one looked carefully, they would realize that it wasn't black liquid but an extremely dense net. Sect Master Dongfang. Meng Rongrong signaled Invincible East. Invincible East waved his sleeve. Boom! He pushed the net into his sleeve. All right, then I will take my leave. Invincible East smiled. Wait! Yang Chuan called out. Oh! Invincible East was confused. Sect Master Dongfang, you control the Eastern Territory. There are some other territories around the Northeast continent. When will you take them? Yang Chuan asked. Yang Emperor, what do you mean? You want to get your hands on the Eastern sect? Lotus Goddess immediately interrupted. Invincible East also looked at Yang Chuan in confusion. I need the power of the common people to help me complete a major task. Sect Master Dongfang, I have observed the Northeast continent. Your Eastern sect doesn't have the intention to control everything, so... Yang Chuan frowned. Invincible East smiled and said, that's fine. Other than my Eastern territory, you can take everything else. Master, Lotus Goddess said unwillingly. For the common people, I can indulge you. Invincible East shook his head. Thank you. Yang Chuan bowed slightly. Invincible East smiled, turned around, and stepped into heaven and earth with Lotus Goddess. Yang Chuan also turned to Meng Rongrong. Rongrong, the common people's calamity is imminent. Follow me back to Diezhun so that we can settle down the snake people. Meow, yes. Sister Rongrong, come back with us. Meow called out. Okay. Meng Rongrong nodded with a hint of joy in her eyes. After settling down the snake people, They entered heaven and earth and returned to the heaven realm of Da Jun. Shan Yangku. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan took the bead from Yang Chuan's hands. Is this Fuxi's gift? The deduction realm of 64 hexagrams? Silver-eyed Yang Chuan said solemnly. In terms of deduction, no one in Da Jun is better than you. What do you think? Yang Chuan asked. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan took a deep breath. Fuxi is the best in the world in the art of deduction. His peak realm is naturally very useful to me. I need to cultivate in seclusion for a while. Perhaps I can catch up with you because of it. That would be best. Yang Chuan nodded. Silver-eyed Yang Chuan went to cultivate in seclusion in Heaven Pavilion. Yi Feng also walked over. Great Emperor, I have already sent a message to the people in the Great Wide World. They are heading to Mount Zhong, saying that you will be here soon, Yi Feng said. That's good. I will head to the Great Wide World immediately. Yi Feng, do you remember what I said earlier? Yang Chuan looked at Yi Feng. Yes, Great Emperor. Don't worry. I have already made arrangements. Once you return, we will officially attack the Great Kindness World. Yi Feng said solemnly. Okay. Yang Chuan nodded. Then, Yang Chuan headed straight to the North Outer Continent. Yang Chuan went to the Immortal Palace alone. It did not take long for him to arrive at the North Outer Continent. Boom. A violent gust of wind swept over. Stop. A large number of guards rushed into the sky. Stand down. In front of a palace, Zhong Shan shouted. Yes. The guards quickly retreated. Whoosh. Yang Chuan landed in front of Zhong Shan. Yang Chuan? What's the matter? Zhong Shan revealed a hint of curiosity. Didn't they just meet not long ago? Yang Chuan took a deep breath and said, There's something I want to ask you for help with. Oh. Zhong Shan revealed a hint of curiosity. Please come in, Zhong Shan said. Yang Chuan nodded. The two of them entered the hall at the side. After the hall closed, Yang Chuan did not stand on ceremony and directly said, I want the life force of all your people. Huh? Zhong Shan revealed a hint of confusion. You want the life force of all my people in the Great Wide World? Not only the Great Wide World, but Great Shan also counts, right? Zhong Shan asked in confusion. Yes. In fact, I will attack the Great Kindness World and take over all its territory and almost all the people in the world. Yang Chuan said solemnly. What do you want to do? I want to use this to break through to the 19th heaven. Yang Chuan's eyes flashed with determination. Chapter 1590. 19 Heavens. Zhong Shan's eyes narrowed. Not long ago, Fuxi had reached the 19 Heavens. That powerful strength had shocked everyone. Yang Chuan nodded. With my strength alone, it is difficult to reach the 19 Heavens. But, what if I gather the strength of all living beings? Oh. Moreover, I also understand why fate is so sensitive to the revival of great force venerables, great chi venerables, and great Dao venerables. Yang Chuan said solemnly. What do you mean? Great Dao venerables, great force venerables, great virtue venerables, in terms of individual strength, they are all at the 18 Heavens. For example, you and I are at the 18 Heavens. Why has fate never paid attention to us? Yang Chuan asked. Fate. Zhong Shan's expression froze. That's right. Fate, force, merit, and fate. When the four combine, it will become fate. Monarchs like us pay the most attention to it. Although the four first epoch experts only had the 18 Heavens, if the four combine, they should be able to reach the 19 Heavens. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Oh. Zhong Shan had a trace of doubt. Fate was worried that the combination of the four would form the 19 levels of heaven, which would affect it. That's why it appeared again and again. This is a taboo item of fate, but I can use it. Yang Chuan said. You want to absorb the strength of the four into your body? Zhong Shan asked solemnly. I have thought about it. It is almost impossible for my two bodies, human body and zombie body, to combine. I need an enormous strength that even I cannot resist. That can only be fate or the living beings. Fate cannot help me, But the living beings can. They can help me gather endless strength, and then forcibly absorb the fate, force, merit, and fate. With this strength, I will definitely be able to reach the 19 heavens. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Zhongshan stared at Yang Chuan. Then what are you going to do? I have the great monarch altar. Not long ago, my body was seized by fate. My consciousness entered the sea of consciousness of fate and observed the great net of fate. As long as I design it well, I can reach at least the 19 heavenly layers. Yang Chuan said affirmatively. Taking a deep breath, Zhongshan pondered for a moment before saying, if that's the case, then Tao venerate, great virtue venerate, great force venerate, great chi venerate, won't they all awaken at the end? They've already been defeated in the first era. What's the point of awakening again? I need your support to attack the 19th firmament with all my might. Yang Chuan said solemnly. But, Fuxi is already at the 19 heavenly layers, yet he still lost. Zhongshan said. Fuxi has lost. That's why I can't lose. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Zhongshan pondered for a moment, and after a while, he finally nodded. All right, I can help you. Yang Chuan smiled. I can help you, but how are you going to absorb the powers of the great Tao venerables, great virtue venerables, great force venerables, and great chi venerables? Zhongshan asked curiously. Have you forgotten the second skill? Yang Chuan smiled. The fusion of fate. Zhongshan's expression changed. Yang Chuan nodded. You know the second skill? It's not me, it's Nest. Nest is the body of an ice toad. It can swallow anything and everything. It has the second skill, but it hasn't used it yet. In the past, it took a part of the great net of fate and passed it down to Miao and Dai Queen. Now that Miao and Dai Queen have revived, I know that they will help me. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Nest. If that's the case, then I'll wait and see. Your request, I will do my best to pass it down to the people. Zhongshan nodded. If that's the case, then many thanks. Yang Chuan smiled and said. 3 days later. Netherworld, Great Qin City, Central Palace. Zombie Yang Chuan sat on the dragon throne and looked at the officials solemnly. For this expedition to the Great Kindness World, I have decided to lead the troops personally. Zombie Yang Chuan said solemnly. Anyone who stands in the way of Great Shun, kill. Anyone who deceives the people, kill. Zombie Yang Chuan said solemnly. Yes. Li Sai, write the declaration and announce it to the world. Yang Chuan said. Yes. Li Sai answered. 3 days later, we will attack the West Outer Continent. Meng Tian, Jin Dayu, Wang Jian, and Bai Qi will be the vanguard and set off first. Yang Chuan ordered. Yes. The 4 generals answered. Boom. Great Shun's expedition to the Great Kindness World began. The news instantly exploded in the Netherworld. At the same time, it also exploded in the Great Kindness World. If it was in the past, the heroes of the Great Kindness World were not afraid. The strongest person in Great Shun was Yang Chuan, but so what? The Great Kindness World had the Tomb Immortal King, a peak level 18 expert. Who could compare to him? However, not long ago, the Tomb Immortal King was defeated by Yang Chuan, which swept away the confidence of the heroes of the Great Kindness World. Before the generals arrived, the civil officials arrived first. A group of envoys led by Zhong Yi continuously entered the territories of the various heroes and persuaded them to surrender. Some of the heroes were disdainful, but some were willing to submit. After all, Great Shun's declaration had spread throughout the world and was unparalleled. Who could defeat them? If they submitted early, they might be able to preserve their current great power. The entire Great Kindness World instantly fell into chaos. Meanwhile, in the Great Kindness World's undying dominion. At this moment, the Tomb Immortal King was listening to the news that had spread throughout the world. Yang Chuan? I didn't go to find him, but he actually came to find me. The Tomb Immortal King said with a gloomy expression. Patriarch, how could this be? Does Yang Chuan really have such a great desire for power? He's already at level 18. Even if he mobilizes the power of the world, it's impossible for him to reach level 19, the Tomb Immortal King said anxiously. Patriarch, Could Yang Chuan be here for revenge? Another Tomb Immortal King shouted. The Tomb Immortal King's eyes widened. Revenge? Was it because of Miao and the Butterfly Queen? They had already fought once, and he had lost face. Moreover, wasn't it rumored that those two women had been resurrected by Invincible East? The Tomb Immortal King was irritated. Head Dao Supremacy, Great Force Supremacy, and Great Qi Supremacy have all ascended again. Now it seems that I can only find another Great Virtue Supremacy. The Tomb Immortal King took a deep breath. Xianyang Pass. Yang Chuan in human form looked at the west of the world of the living, the Great Ju Celestial World, and frowned slightly. Beside him stood Empress Le. The former palace master of the Absolute Palace shared the same fate as the Emperor. Le, I haven't been able to contact the Emperor, but I need the power of the people in the Netherworld's North Continent, so I need your help. Yang Chuan looked at Le. Husband, please speak. Le's eyes flashed with deep love. I need you to temporarily replace the Emperor and take over the North Continent. Also, bring the North Continent into the Great Shan Celestial World. Yang Chuan said solemnly. Le was slightly taken aback. Of course, if you're not willing, I'll think of another way. Yang Chuan smiled. No, I can do it, I can do it. Le said immediately. Yang Chuan smiled gently. I have no choice. In the future, when the calamity of the common people is over, I will return the world to the Emperor. I understand. Le's eyes were filled with a strong sense of trust. Chapter 1591. Great Kindness World, Undying Territory. Immortal King Palace. Mu Immortal King sat on his throne and looked at the peerless experts of Great Kindness World in front of him. Mu Family Master, Great Shan's army has invaded Great Kindness World. Please help us. Mu Family Master, although Great Kindness World is divided, we have an alliance in our hearts. As long as Mu Family Master gives the order, we will obey. Mu Family Master is the leader of Great Kindness World. Mu Family Master, Great Kindness World is in danger. Please help us. The peerless experts of Great Kindness World were pleading respectfully. Although the group of peerless experts was powerful, and there was even a peak 16th heavenly layer among them, if Yang Chuan wasn't around, they would still be able to fend off the Great Shan. But now, Yang Chuan was personally leading the troops. Yang Chuan was 18th heaven, and the rogue cultivator Sho Di had also come. Sho Di could deal with 16th heaven experts in an instant. How could they resist such a powerful Great Shan? Great Kindness World was divided, and this caused the people of Great Kindness World to not have a strong sense of unity. From the bottom, they could not unite. How could they resist Great Shan's army? Great Shan had almost obtained Great Evil World. There was no threat in the Yang realm. Zhongshan would not declare war on Yang Chuan. Now that Great Shan's army was attacking, who could resist? Everyone looked at Mu Immortal King with desire. Mu Immortal King looked at everyone with a complicated expression. Mu Immortal King did not expect Yang Chuan to attack Great Kindness World. In the current situation, if he did not interfere, it would not be long before the Great Virtue World was taken over by Great Shan. If he did not agree this time, the Mu clan's prestige in the Great Kindness World would instantly be lost, and this group of heroes who followed him would immediately turn around and throw themselves into Great Shan's embrace. Fine, I will go with you. Mu Immortal King said in a deep voice. Thank you, Mu. Everyone said excitedly. Yang Realm, Inner North Continent, Undying Hall. The Emperor's 12 disciples had returned. Countless disciples of the Undying sect were standing in the square. They looked at Undying Hall in confusion. Within the Undying Hall, Le was dressed in the Empress robes of the Great Shan Empress. Behind her were a group of subordinates. She looked at the Emperor's 12 disciples before her. When the 12th disciple saw Le, he had a complicated expression on his face. Do you know who I am? Le asked indifferently. One of the disciples said solemnly, Greetings, greetings. After talking for a long time, he still couldn't think of a proper way to address Zhongxian. Forget it. Le shook her head. Do you know about my relationship with the emperor? Le asked again. The disciple from before replied respectfully, yes, you and master are one. It's good that you know. The empress has now entered the cycle of reincarnation. I've already told her about it, and she agreed. Le said. Agree to what? Everyone was slightly taken aback. Incorporate the inner North Continent into the territory of the Great Celestial Realm, Le said in a low voice. What? Everyone's expression changed. The Empress can't be in two places at once, so I'll give the order on her behalf. You all will carry it out. I've brought along a group of officials from the Great Shan Empire, and there will be more coming one after another. You all just need to cooperate with these officials, Le said. No, how can this be? This is the Undying Sect's North Continent, something we fought for, that disciple cried out. Huh? Le's eyes widened. Everyone immediately dared not speak. Don't worry. This time, we're recruiting the people of the inner North Continent because we have something important to do. We have no choice but to do so. In the future, Yang Chuan has already agreed to return the land to you all, Le said in a low voice. Everyone was still somewhat dissatisfied. All right, the Empress has already agreed. Now, I can represent the Empress here. Why? Do you have any objections? Le said in a low voice. Everyone was in a stalemate for a while before they finally said solemnly, yes, I know you're unwilling, but look at the situation now. The world is about to be destroyed. What's the use of occupying a continent? The Empress has been too lenient on you all, Le said coldly. Everyone's face stiffened. Finally, they said, don't worry, we'll cooperate fully. Millimeter, I'll stay here for the time being, Le said in a low voice. Yes. Everyone responded. Le and the Empress were the same person, but also not the same person. Their extremely complicated relationship made everyone treat them with caution. Go. Le said lightly. In the Yang realm. Xianyang City. In Yang Chuan's study with a human body. Great Emperor, the collection of the Northeast continent has already begun. Other than the Eastern Dominion, the collection of the other dominions will also begin soon, Lu Buwei said respectfully. Millimeter. Yang Chuan nodded. Great Emperor, with Zhongshan's full cooperation, more than half of the people in the world can be mobilized. Now, only the Western Dominion is left. Great Emperor, do you want to take the Great Ju Celestial Realm? Lu Buwei asked solemnly. Great Ju Celestial Realm? Wu Jiong. Yang Chuan said in a low voice. Yes. Lu Buwei's eyes flashed coldly. It was a coldness towards the Great Ju Celestial Realm. At this moment, the Great Ju Celestial Realm was sweeping across the world. The Great Ju Celestial Realm occupied 36 dominions. The one in charge of the Great Ju Celestial Realm is not Wu Jiong. Yang Chuan narrowed his eyes. I know it's Hong Jun. However, ever since Hong Jun faked his death, he has never appeared again. He was only at the 15th heaven. Even if he appeared again, he would not be able to stop the Great Emperor. Lu Buwei frowned. You may leave. I'll think about it. Yang Chuan shook his head. Yes. Lu Buwei could only feel helpless. After Lu Buwei left, Yang Chuan closed his eyes and pondered in the study. Hong Jun was not dead. Yang Chuan had already confirmed that there were still countless crickets alive in the Purple Cloud Palace. However, what exactly was Hong Jun planning? How could he remain calm? The calmer he was, the bigger his plan was. Invincible. Yang Chuan said softly. Whoosh. Suddenly, a black figure appeared in the study. Great Emperor. The black figure said respectfully. I have always wondered why Hong Jun would take a fancy to Wu Jiong and even made her the Empress on Earth. Perhaps we have all underestimated this woman. I need Bu Tian Pavilion to enter the Purple Cloud Palace again and investigate all the news about Wu Jiong. Even if you have to find Wu Jiong's fake tomb, you must find some clues for me. I will let the Eastern Righteous faction control the time of the Purple Cloud Palace. Go and return quickly, Yang Chuan said solemnly. Yes. Underworld, West Outer Continent. The Tomb Immortal King, surrounded by a group of peerless experts from the Great Benevolence World, arrived at the front line of the battlefield. On a huge floating island at the front line, Zombie Yang Chuan sat on the dragon throne and personally led the army. He had his own strategists to mobilize thousands of troops. Yang Chuan, as the emperor, inspired the morale of the entire army. On the dragon throne, Zombie Yang Chuan narrowed his eyes and saw the Tomb Immortal King on the peak of a mountain in the distance. The Tomb Immortal King was surrounded by a group of peerless experts. The Tomb Immortal King and Zombie Yang Chuan looked at each other from a distance. You're tuning in to the Celestial War YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.